It is the finale of the World GT Championship Season 9, and we are here for three 20-minute sprint races around the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Hello everybody, welcome along to RaceSpotTV. My name is Paul Smith, joined as always by Chaz Dracop, and we are here for that season finale, as I mentioned. And there are a number of championships yet to be decided here today. Who will be the Pro-Am and Am champions, as well as the Pro-Am team champions? Well, we'll get to find that out all today here. But as you can see, it's been a long old season. 12 weeks of action, starting out in January at Monza. Had tremendous races at Mount Panorama. The Circuit de la Sarthe was exceedingly enjoyable as well. Road America had some dramatic action. Spa-Francorchamps never failed to deliver. Last week at Daytona, we had a little bit of heartbreak for some, but now we head on into this finale. And, well, here is how things pan out. The drivers highlighted in yellow, well, they've still got an opportunity of a championship here. And Chaz, this Pro Championship has been exceedingly close all the way through this championship here this season, and it's going down to the wire.
Yeah, definitely. Good evening, everybody. We have got an absolute thriller ahead of us tonight. And yes, indeed, Paul. I mean, we've not even got much of a gap between the top three. I mean, there is a little bit more work for the guys further back to do. But like you say, we've had multiple race winners this season. We've had drivers that seem to always be up there near the front no matter what format gets thrown at them. But they haven't really run away with anything so far. We have had so many incredible drivers. And I mean, if I'm honest, no offence to Pete Harrod, but I mean, he's Season 7 champion, but the fact that he's in 4th place in this championship shows his consistency and how well he drives under the radar, because he hasn't really been a standout driver this season, but he's just getting the job done, and he's 4th overall. It's incredible.
Michael Evdoka, Chris Wood, David Baker and Alex Snell are all fighting it out to just see who finishes in the other positions there. Absolutely great to see. The Pro-Am Championship, now this is a little bit more, well, it's tall order for Mike Horder and Chris Van Der Nest, because 143 and 156 points behind, well, there's only 201 points remaining for these three races. So you'd say that Tom Dadswell, barring any major instance, has got one hand on the trophy right now.
Yeah, definitely. He's in a really strong position coming into this tonight. And he's really lucky, to be fair, with that. I mean, I know that he's been doing amazingly so far this season, and all credit to him, but how many times have we seen anybody start to run away with the Pro-Am Championship? It's very, very minimal. It's usually the closest class in the series, but this season, the top guys up there have been absolutely on it, and Dadswell has just risen above the rest.
Now, Am Championship, this is an exceedingly close championship as well. It's the Pro and Pro-Am that's really been the two really tight affairs, and Brian Lyons and Michael Blake have kept on swapping positions. 21 points between the two of them. Don't write out Doyle and Webster though, they're still within shouting distance. Archer and Rowe, they both need to score more points than the leading driver in the championship to have a hope of getting that championship crown. But Am, again, it's been incredibly tight in this championship.
Yeah, and the thing to consider here is that a lot of the guys in the Am category, they often can benefit more from the reverse grid. You know, with being a bit further down the order, naturally, if one of them gets a really good reverse grid position, they can score so many points from that should they survive the entire race. And I think some of those races have been the real defining factor of this so far, but it's another one of those categories where you just really need consistency, and Brian Lyons has had a hell of a lot of it. Michael Blake we've seen have just the odd few bad races here and there where he gets caught up in an incident or something. Doyle has been the same, you know, he's been caught up in a number of incidents this season. And Paul Webster, he's had a really good resurgence late on, but it just, with the amount of points that these guys usually score on a night, I think it's going to be a bit tough for Doyle and Webster. This is probably going to go down between the top two, as it is in the Teams Pro Championship.
Well, the Teams Championships, this is very much a case of both in the Pro and Pro-Am, that the team in second place has to outscore the team in first just to get past this first race to keep it alive. So Pure Sims Esports have got one hand on the trophy. There's 391 points available here at this stage with 3 races to go. 351 points is the gap between them and the OBP team, so it's going to be a tall order for Pure Sims OBP to win there. Altitude Esports in their first year as an outfit, doing extremely well to be in third place, but they've not got that sealed yet. We'll look at the Pro-Am Championship as well for the teams, because Boosted Motorsport, I mean, tip of the hat to them. They've just been out there clear all season long, and the 305 points clear now.
Yeah, they've been fantastic this season. You know, they've got very bright, shiny cars, and to be fair, they've shined their way to the front, in honesty. I mean, Simortal have been there as well. You know, they've got the completely fluoro yellow machines. They look really, really good out there. But it's just been... I think we often do see a lot of the boosted motorsport cars finishing top in their own categories as well, and I think that's what's made the difference there. A number of their drivers really just always in and amongst it. So it's made all the difference in that championship. It's going to be hard for Simortal to turn that around tonight, as we all know. But at the end of the day, I know that they'll give it their all.
As I say, Paul Smith and Chaz Draycott here on commentary. And Chaz, it's your final time on commentary. This season, it's seems some tremendous thrills and spills, hasn't it? Just what have been some of your highlights of this season so far?
The feature race format has been absolutely epic. You know, the 240 minutes with a pit stop in each one. It's really filled that grey area between the 3 sprint races and the very long endurance races. You know, it just highlights the people that are good at maintaining strategies and just planning a longer race out, because in the sprints, they're called a sprint for a reason. You just get in the car and you go for it. And we see a bit more action and chaos in those races, but that's just the nature of the beast. That, and to be fair, the little flip of the format partway through the season, you know, 2 Enduros back-to-back with the feature race then coming after it rather than before it, and sprints and so on, which gives us 3 races at the end of the season. Now, it's been a very well-tweaked championship, this. You know, there's been all the ingredients there for years. I mean, I joined these guys in late 2017 for Season 2 with Tom Jacobs as Team Limit Squad in our little Ferraris before we sort of brought Josh Rayfield on board. And then since then, you know, it's grown so much and everybody's just gained more experience from it all in terms of the admins, the drivers, and, you know, ourselves as well as commentators getting all the info in our heads about what's gone on before. And it's great to see what it's grown into now, and the guys still do an absolutely mega job, really.
Absolutely. I mean, for me personally this season, it was the race at Bathurst. Just how things just kept on happening in that race. I mean, we had 2 yellow flag periods in that race. It was a crazy race, was that one, but a tremendous one, thoroughly enjoyable to watch, that's for sure. And I'm with you. The feature race format, even though I haven't been able to say it right all season, has really panned out and really worked out well. And I hope that it stays. This format, I think, is a great... It sort of evolved over time. We just had sprint racing to start with in this championship. Then they've introduced 1 or 2 endurance races. That got taken on really well. And now just throwing in these feature races as well, it really just gives it a unique championship appeal. And I thoroughly enjoy this. We've got about 35 seconds left in qualifying it's before we get ready for the first race. Number of drivers not being able to qualify for this opening race: Adam Watson, Morgan Butler and John Roberts. So it's going to be a bit of a hard charge for them at the back, especially for Adam. He's been complaining about not having any pace. I think he's been copying the big book of Josh Thompson excuses there.
Yes, it sounds like it, to be fair. But, you know, these guys are so competitive. They have to just think of anything they can. What's holding me back? Why am I not up there? Sometimes you just have to concede that you've not got the pace. And you can just say to people, look, it's not it's really not working for me tonight, and that's that. You know, you've got to just say it how it is sometimes with these drivers. But yes, final meeting of the season, one of my favourite tracks in the world, and to be honest, a really good way for me to bow out was being a part of this championship as well, and of course part of these wonderful broadcasts as well. So let's crack on with it and let's have some mega racing, because we usually do here, to be fair. Slate your track all you want. It's a really good venue for these guys, because even if the racing isn't the cleanest, it's frantic and exciting, and everyone's going to enjoy it, I'm sure.
We've got 45 cars for today's event, so it's a good big grid again for
grid.
you. And my poor old computer, I don't know whether it's going to cope with that. But
Blame the pit building.
But this series, it's certainly just grown from strength to strength, and I definitely think that it's got bigger things ahead, that's for sure. But yeah, we are going to miss Chaz on the commentary after the end of tonight. I won't miss his puns, but we'll certainly miss him on commentary, that's for sure.
Thank you, mate.
As we get on ready for this opening round. Just to let you know as well, we are going to be keeping you up to date after each of the races as to what the championship situation is. We won't be able to show you that on screen, unfortunately. As good as technology is, unfortunately we don't have that, but we will be able to tell you as we go along. Thank you to your own Kaiser for updating the championship points as we go along tonight. So we'll be keeping you abreast of everything, and we'll let you know when we know who a champion is, that's for sure. But
I'll get the abacus out.
Yeah, get the abacus out. The beaded car seat, I thought that was a type of abacus. That's certainly one. But we are getting ready for the start of this race. So let's give you the grid. The first of the 3 races here today, and it's Ross McFarlane on pole position ahead of Nicole Foggy, with Josh Thompson 3rd place, and Tom Dadswell 4th place in qualifying. Absolutely sensational for the Pro-Am leader. Matt Turnbull and Kenneth Gulbranson round out your top 5. Then it's Mark Fletcher on row number 4 even, with Michael Evdoka. Ash Sutton, good to see him here for the final round, with Alex Neller, Ben Palmer and Jesse Jones. Pete Harrod, Mike Horder then on the next row, with David Baker down in 15th place. He won't be happy with that. Matt Bunn and Brian Lyons, that's a good solid position for the AM Championship leader, 17th place. Ross Nicholson, 18th. Tom Stevens and Matthew Dahl, 19th and 20th, with Andy Archer and Chris Van Der Ness. Max Wolf and Ben Gregory round out 24th.
Following them is Chris Wood in 25th place, with James Whitehouse alongside him. Andy Scheel is 27th, ahead of Paul Webster, with Jason Hodgson and Simon Field rounding out your top 30. They then have Adam Hedgecock and Lars Van Rijn, 2 boosted Ferraris side by side. Following another one of them actually is Lee Berridge. Sean Gardner, another boosted car, in 34th, with Michael Blake and Daniele Giudici side by side in 35th and 36th. Then it's Mark Woodhouse and Chris Byram ahead of Liam Atkins and Jason Rowe rounding out the 40. And near the back of the field we have Adam Watson and Jonathan Walker, with behind them Morgan Butler, John Roberts and Simon Neller. And interesting to see Adam Watson all the way back down there, Paul, because he's usually a hard charger at a track like this, so I'm hoping that he can get some good results out of it and manage to climb his way back up to the front.
Yeah, he of course had a penalty in qualifying, so wasn't able to take to qualifying, but we're all set for the opening round, or the opening race of this final round of the World GT Championship. We hope you've been enjoying it. It is the historic layout here, so we've not got the final chicane, so it's going to be a dash through the penultimate 2 corners. Drivers getting themselves prepared. Only a short pacing here, so not a lot of time to get themselves ready for the start of this one. But you can see there Josh Thompson, he's a bit of an outside threat here for McFarlane and Foggy, but 2 championship leaders in Pro up there in first and second place. What are we going to see for the opening of this final round? Well, McFarlane's gone early and he's going to take Thompson with him. Foggy's trying to chop off Thompson here, but the green flag is in the air. Cars flying over the start and finish line. Down towards turn number 1. It's McFarlane who leads this one. Thompson in second place with Foggy down to third. Foggy needs to move forward to try and challenge McFarlane in the championship. Gulbranson fourth ahead of Dadswell in fifth place. We've got an incident further down and we've got a number of cars off. Oh, car 87. That is Chris Wood. Oh, he's had an absolute nightmare this season as Chris. Team Mad really have not enjoyed that BMW, that's for sure. But down through turn number 5, everything's staying clear for the time being. Lars van Rijn is taken to the pits, Chaz.
Yeah, Lars van Rijn was, I think he actually got through the incident and then got some sort of contact and was turned around. A number of drivers like Tom Stevens has dropped down, Lee Berridge, Dadswell going slowly there. Maybe a slowdown off the corner before or maybe a moment. It's easy to overdo it on the curbs as you go back up the hill there, so he's potentially had that, although he's blinking in and out a little bit. We know that that's not always network related. Sometimes if your CPU's overloading itself, as straight on goes Mike Horder. He's not going to be pleased with that. And of course, we're using the longer left-hander at the end of that straight there today, so you don't get that plentiful amount of runoff to use. You've just got to go straight to the gravel. But the very smiley Williams Esports Lamborghini of Josh Thompson blinking in and out a bit there, that's not going to help Nickel Foggy in the slightest. Ross McFarlane with a really strong lap, but those guys behind have got to really think about this train, because look at all of them there, the amount of Pure Sims and Altitude Esports Audis all together, all white, blue and black in their own way. It's absolutely crowded together, but a relatively clean start, only a couple of cars losing out in that incident, so it's pretty good to see that around here, because I mean, we discussed at the start of the broadcast, didn't we, that it's a tough first sector to go through in a big field.
Yeah, Thompson has been having internet issues today. I know that. I've spoke to him earlier, and hopefully this isn't a return to the gremlins. He actually had no internet for 2 hours earlier today, so he's really been having some issues out there. And Foggy, now if you're Nicole Foggy and you've got that blinking car in front of you, you want to get past it as soon as possible, because Ross is pulling away at the front here. And you want to try and get at Ross McFarlane to try and help your championship charge, but you also want to be wary of when you make a move with Josh, because you don't know exactly where he's going to be.
Yeah, that's it. It's very, very scary. Sometimes you have to just suck it up and just go, look, I was down the inside. I know where he was the last time I saw him. You've got to sort of judge where the car's going to be. And if you do get to a point where you can slipstream somebody, the safest thing to do is to just pull out, choose your line, and just stay in a straight line. Because if you're not moving over, then you're not causing a problem. And, you know, if the person that's blinking, don't forget, you don't always know if you're blinking as well.
Yeah.
If said person is blinking and they've decided to move over and then they suddenly reappear across your nose, then you've not really done anything wrong if you stay in a straight line. Bit of a compromised line there into the final corner, though, from Nickel Foggy. Loses quite a lot of ground as he goes down the straight. Matthew Turnbull right behind him. Ash Sutton has just got ahead of Kenneth Branson, who was on the inside. I think he might have had a slowdown or something. Yeah, that looks like a slowdown. Easy to do it in that second to last corner, isn't it? Run the what they call the historic layout with the long sweeping right-hander second to last, as there goes Michael Evdoka on Tom Dadswell. The two of them getting very close to contact through turn 2 there, and now behind Dadswell is Ben Palmer, who we know doesn't take any prisoners. Let's see what he can do. Yeah,
that's Dadswell going defensive, Palmer going on the attack. As we're on board with Palmer then. This is all battling over 7th place. Down into the hairpin, almost contact between the two of them. Oh, that got a bit close for comfort there for Dadswell. Of course, as much as Dadswell is in charge of that Pro-Am standings, he still needs to finish this race and get a decent points to basically solidify his championship position.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you could say, oh, he's got a bit of an easy ride tonight, but as you said, Paul, he definitely still needs to finish. So sometimes he needs to think, is it worth fighting for this right now? Because he's got a lot of positions over Matt Bunn, who is the next Pro-Am, and Matt's not really a challenge for him in the championship. Ben Palmer is going to try everything to get through here. He's got Mark Fletcher, who we're on board with now, climbing all over the back of him. Kenneth Gulbranson's trying to go around the outside of him as well. Mark's going to play second fiddle, I think, here to Dadswell this evening, just to try and help him. You could see him just diving out from behind Ben Palmer, just to try and distract him a little bit on the braking zone into the left-hander. But now, after just being held up by Ben, he's suddenly going to get gobbled up by the two Mercedes. That is Ash Sutton going slowly, which is not something we see often, weaving around down the straight.
He let Evdoka by. Here comes Palmer on Dadswell, down the inside into one. That's going to be Palmer, upper position then on Tom Dadswell. Dadswell, he can't get too worried about losing positions. He just needs to score points here. I know he wants to do as good a job as possible for himself, but he just needs that, that's for sure. He just needs to just steady away, try and push on. Things have settled down with Josh's internet, by the way, it appears. So he's in second place, under pressure from Nicole Foggy, actually, and Foggy's under pressure from Turnbull. Again, another driver who's going for the Pro Championship here.
Yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it, the quality of these drivers. Usually, you get a bit of a spread of where they are in the field, especially when they're under pressure to perform on the final night of the championship as well, because when you do have that pressure against you, it's easy to just make a little mistake in qualifying, push a bit too hard, and the pressure can really get to you. But we've got 3 of the drivers battling for the overall championship in the top 4, and the other one of them is a World Championship driver with over 8,000 I rating, Josh Thompson, so they can be forgiven for not occupying the entire top 3. This is a big train further back. That's David Baker side by side with Jesse Jones.
Yeah, Jones has dropped back a bit there, so was up in with Gulbranson. Oh, a little bit of a rub there.
That Lambo's tough.
Yeah, and flash of the headlights from the barge that is the Mercedes. And this is a team, Jesse Jones and Kenneth Gulbranson, and of course we had Cooper as well earlier on, didn't we? They have really sort of come along, and they had such a strong start, but it's just petered out towards the end of the series, hasn't it?
Yeah, they also had Oswald as well as, Baker's run a little bit wide. In fairness, the first bit of contact... Oh, no! I was just about to say Jesse's not been leaving the room and there's a car down the inside or next to him, and that was another moment there where that just wasn't the room, and he turned in, and it was similar with the original bit of contact with Dave, as well as, again, little move to the right, trying to get defensive. That is Max Wolf, is it not, in the number 81 machine, trying to go down the inside. He's been great to watch this season as Max. He came in partway through, and the Evo SR driver is brilliant. Again, look, you can just feel that Jesse Jones, he's driving angry now. It's getting a bit clumsy. He just needs to calm down for a minute and just get a lap in a bit of clean air here. Brian Loynes isn't too far ahead, the lead AM driver in this race. Jesse just needs to just give it a lap or two, just settle into a rhythm again, and just try and move forward, regain those places. Oh, in the background, Nicholson, I think, is that Wolf? Wolf is off there, the commentator's curse. Yeah,
Wolf and Nicholson come together. They take to the escape road there. Well, it's the old part of the track there. Careful of your rejoin. That's the difficult part of that part of the track. So we'll have a look at what's happened here between the two of them. They're pretty close together. Is there going to be a little bit of a coming together? Yes, there is. And that's on Ross, I think. Yeah. Max is all the way over to the left-hand side there, and Ross has just come across and, caused that accident, in my opinion.
Yeah, he knew that he was alongside him. He just tried to open up the corner a little bit more, but didn't realise how wide that Lamborghini was by the look of it. But now, Max Wolf has obviously dropped down. He's got Jim Whitehouse behind him, Adam Hedgecock in front of him, and Ross Nicholson also dropping down a bit more. A flash of the lights there from Dadswell, clearly not happy with whatever Kenneth Gulbranson has just done to him. But he's actually back in front of Ben Palmer, is Tom Dadswell. So this is all moving around. You can flash your lights all you want, Tom, but it's not going to move that Mercedes out of the way. But maybe he's just feeling the pressure a little bit tonight as well. Tempers could flare here, but there's Fletcher trying to go around the outside of Palmer, trying to use every bit of road. You can feel as well, even the body language from Mark's car, as I said before, trying to distract Ben from the car in front, from attacking his teammate. He's just doing everything he can is the 111 machine. I'm going to be able to actually see Mark in person next week at the, well, next weekend actually, at the Sports 2000 Championships at Brands Hatch. And I imagine that he's going to be reciting this to me corner by corner come the weekend.
Yes, well, Fletcher heading down the back straight here. And it's not as much of an overtaken opportunity into this hairpin compared to the tighter hairpin that we see on the modern circuit. So it's really follow the leader through this section now. Your next overtaking opportunity is going to be into turn 1. Will Branson running a wider line through the corner, and that's just allowing others to keep with him and keep close together.
He got a really good run off it, though, you know. He went very deep. It's almost like a double apex right-hander, that long uphill right, because you can attack it quite early. Let the car go out a little bit wide. Don't hug the curb all the way around. And he went very deep, but he got a fantastic launch off it as Thompson and Foggy get close together. Thompson tries to rally across the Lamborghini. Trust me, mate, it doesn't work. This is bringing Matt Turnbull into this. We did just see Dave Baker as well catching up to Fletcher on the back of that battle earlier, but this is for second, third and fourth here. Turnbull's got to be careful using all the astro and the grass out there. Thompson feels the need to go a bit defensive. Foggy down the inside, a little bit late, but still awesome stuff to do. It wasn't like a massive lunge from very far back. Thompson sort of dummy defended it, and Foggy went, all right, then if you go that way. Oh, no, Nicol makes contact. There was a sudden move to the left. Oh, and there goes Josh. Oh, I'm not sure what caused that for Nicol there. It seemed very out of character, but that was scrappy. That was, it looked completely unnecessary, but I'm really not sure what that was. I don't know whether he thought that Josh was further over. Nicol goes down the inside on the brakes. And then you'll see, just as they get out of here, now he stays in the middle of the road and squeezes him over anyway a little bit, but then suddenly you'll see the car there. It just wobbles left, and I don't know whether it was... it's not like Nicol to do stuff like that. And, I mean, to do it broadcasted is silly. It's like when footballers dive, isn't it? But let's have a look. Whether it was just he let go of the wheel to press something on a button box or something, let's have a look. Oh,
he's going straight. I think it's just the two of them have just come together, and bye-bye, exit stage left, or stage right, should I say, Josh Thompson.
The real shame that he's still in the race in 11th position, though, so he didn't actually lose too much, but you've got to wonder what state the car is in now. I imagine the right-hand side of it is very second-hand. Now look at this, stablemates again at Pure Sims here. We've got Nicol Foggy defending from Matt Turnbull. All of this is helping Ross McFarlane, who's now got an almost 4 second, well, over 4 seconds in the time it's taken me to say that. 4 seconds clear of these boys, absolutely flying.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, by the way, there is live timing available. So click the link in the YouTube chat and you can keep up to date with everything happening in these 3 races. And right now we are seeing the front 3, which is Ross McFarlane, who leads the championship by 26 points over this man in second place, Nicol Foggy. Matt Turnbull is 3rd place in the race. He's also 3rd place in the championship as well. So the front 3 in the Pro Championship all together. Tom Dadswell, he finds himself in 7th place at the moment. He just needs to get points and he'll be champion after this race, because Matt Bunn is in 12th place in the standings, but he's not even in the fight of the of that championship. Now, one that is extremely close in the championship as well is Brian Loyens here in 17th place. He's the amateur leader right now. His next championship rival is Michael Blake. And where is Blake? He's down in 33rd. That is not going well for the Simortal team. Look at him. You can see 3 Simortal cars all together with a Sean Gardner in the middle.
And 4 boosted cars in the shot as well.
Yeah.
Real stalwarts of any British sim racing paddock, really, aren't they, to be honest?
Yeah.
But like you say, this is not what Blake wants right now. But it brings me back to the Lexus at BMW, because it's just... it's not stood out, has it? I mean, despite the livery, it's just not stood out this season, and I'm not sure whether it's just not the car to choose.
Speaking of BMWs.
Oh, no, well, that one's standing out, but unfortunately it's sticking out of the wall. That was Mark Woodhouse, who patiently waits to get back on. Let's see what happened there, Paul.
I think he's done it all on his own, you know. Into the final corner. He's going to run wide. There's the gravel.
Oh, and that's a big one. It's interesting how it absorbed it, actually.
Well, there's a tyre barrier there. There's a tyre barrier there.
Yeah. Usually it would probably spit him out a little bit more than that, but he's done all right there, in fairness. We've got Josh Thompson, by the way, dropping more places here. Oh, no, it was his connection again. Apologies.
Yes.
So it has gone to pot again, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he might be sitting out the rest of the evening at this rate with the way it is. Now, Ash Sutton finds himself in 5th place. He's not involved in any fights for a championship. He's just out there to support his team. And, I mean, you look at it across the various different Pure Sims teams, and there's a number of them in this race. You've got Ross McFarlane, Nicole Foggy, Matt Turnbull, Michael Evdoka, and Ash Sutton. The front 5 are all stablemates as Jim Whitehouse is... Oh, what your re-entry on the exit. That is a blind corner, is that? And to re-enter 90 degrees to the traffic coming through, that's asking for trouble. I mean, thankfully nobody caught him and everybody's okay.
I tell you what, it'd be more blind than normal in that situation as well, because you'd have your eyes closed. Coming around there, you see smoke, it rolls back. You're better off reversing there and doing what the guys did before.
Or just turning immediately left.
Yeah, I think he tried to, but it just understeers across the gravel, maybe. But
that's so close to collecting that immortal car.
It was scary, wasn't it? What you were saying about Pure Sims there, though, as well, I mean, it carries on not long after. When you go past Branson and Dadswell, you then got Palmer. Then you've got to wait for Mark Fletcher, obviously, but then it's David Baker, Matt Bunn, Pete Harrod. They're also Pure Sims as well. So I think there's, 8 or 9 of them in the top 12. It's certainly incredible, the numbers. But, you know, they've been told that they're into teams. They can battle each other. So you've got Pure Sims OBP, Pure Sims Esports. We've also got Pure Sims by Craig's Setup Shop. And we actually have out there as well Jonathan Walker, who is the series sponsor at 3M as well. He's got a Pure Sims branded car in this championship too. And don't forget the Pure Sims 3M cars, actually. David Baker and Matt Turnbull. Those beautiful, beautiful Lamborghinis that we have been just drooling over this season with the green, white and red. But this is the gorgeous sound of the 5.2 litre V10 in the back of the Audi R8 as we ride on board. Very tricky section to get right this, because there's so much momentum here. And that was the slowdown corner there, just through the right. If you overdo it, you can get a very nasty slowdown, especially on a section as quick as this. Interesting as well, Paul, that yellow sausage curb on the outside of the final corner. It's meant to discourage people taking too many liberties on the exit of that chicane. But even on this historic layout of the circuit, it's still a big menace. Yeah,
it certainly is. It's keeping you out the way. Josh Thompson has parked it, by the way. He is our only official retirement. Only one driver out of this race, which is quite amazing. That's for sure. Matt Bunn is currently fighting with Jesse Jones. You've also got Alex Neller and Pete Harrod together as well. So that's 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, all duking it out there. Jones, of course, trying to recover after the issue early on. Is now working forward here as we look from Matt Bunn's 3M car onto the brakes. That's a bit ambitious there, Matt, if you ask my opinion. But back onto the power. Keeps in that 14th place. And Jones now will find it harder and harder to move forward as these drivers at the front are quicker and quicker.
Yeah, the more that you get closer to the top, the harder it is, like you say. You know, it's like an ever-increasing sort of boss fight on a game. You know, the further you go through a game, you may get quicker and quicker yourself, but it just gets worse and worse for you in terms of how large the challenge is. And there's not much challenge larger than the Mercedes-AMG GT3 as Jesse Jones decides to drift the thing up the hill. As he takes a late apex there, you can see him just try and get the run off that corner. A little bit sideways on exit though. It seems like the Mercedes is just trying to kill him at the moment. Seems to be very floaty mid-corner and on the exit of the corners as well. But I imagine it's got some good shove in a straight line. Now this is Michael Blake going up into 29th place past Daniele Giudici in the number 4. His teammate, obviously, the man that is trying to beat Michael Blake in this championship. So Daniele would have defended that with his life, but no such result here. Michael Blake on a mission forward now.
Yeah, 29th place, it's not what you want when you consider that his rival, Brian Loyens, is in 16th place. He's actually battling with Mike Horder further up. Ben Gregory and Andy Archer, they're also 2 together. We are on the final lap of this race, by the way, so this race has flown by here in this first one as, well, out of turns 2 and 3. Onto the brakes. Paul Webster on the outside, and he's ended up on the grass. He's going to come under pressure from Max Wolf now. So Wolf and Webster, 2 AMs, fighting it out now, all because of one little mistake. Is actually Dadswell! Dadswell's off!
That looks like it's been in the wall hard as well.
Yeah. And
it's easy up there to have it swing one way and then the other, and that's an Audi trait. The rear end getting away. There is a nasty sausage curve. This looks to me like there might have been something more in this. Kenneth Gulbranson is on the outside, bit of contact. Oh, and Palmer just lifts up the rear end of Dadswell's car, tips him into the side of Gulbranson, maybe not expecting him to be that slow through there, and that's it. But look at that, absolutely untouchable at the front, Ross McFarlane.
Yep, absolutely brilliant from Ross. Did what he needed to do there and got a win in this opening round. That's what he needed to do. Matt Bunn is stopped out on track. I don't say he's run out of fuel.
You know, Bunny, he always tries to push the limits.
Let's go on board. Yeah, he's run out of fuel here.
Oh, Bunny. Oh,
yep.
Bunny.
That's out of fuel.
Oh, mate. For God's sake. Oh, Matt, honestly, the thing is, right, Matt puts so much effort into running this championship, right? I think that's where all of his brain power goes. Because it comes to the race and he either spins or does something like this. But he's entertaining all the laps. I'll give you that, Bunny. But he's got a very large beanbag in his office. I imagine he'll be punching that to pieces right now, in fairness. But there's the very pretty Jericho boosted Audi of Lars van Rijn. It's not, is it? Sorry, it's not. It's Simon Neller, that. I saw 77 and thought, no. That's Simon Neller. Apologies, Lars. But there's your race winner, though. Ross McFarlane absolutely just disappeared at the front there. Did everything he needed to. Like you say, Paul, Nickel Foggy and Matt Turnbull may have been in the exact positions behind, and then Avdoka as well, talking about championship orders. But, you know, Ross has still extended that gap at the top. He's got very few incident points out of that. He was clean all the way through. Foggy second. Still opens the gap up with 2 races to go.
Yeah, so there we go then. There's the results. Ross McFarlane first place ahead of Nicole Foggy and Matt Turnbull. The first 3 in your pro standings in 1, 2 and 3. Michael Avdoka 4th ahead of Kenneth Gulbranson. With Mark Fletcher in 6th place, so getting a good position for him in the end after that incident earlier on with his teammate Dadswell. Palmer, Baker, Sutton and Harrod sign out your top 10. Alex Neller 11th ahead of Jesse Jones. Then the winning Pro-Am driver is actually Mike Horder in this one, finishing 1 place ahead of Brian Lyons, your winning Am driver, finishing 14th. That's a big boost for him in his championship battle. Andy Shield and Adam Watson. Adam Watson from the back of the grid up to 16th. We didn't see him at all. What a drive from Adam there. Matthew Doyle, the second placed Am driver, ahead of the second placed Pro-Am driver of Ben Gregory. Dadswell ends up 3rd place in Am, and to be honest, that should seal him his championship there. It was Mike Horder. I was saying that Mike Horder was the one in 2nd place, so we'll have to wait for the maths to be done on that one. Andy Archer rounds out your top 20. Then Paul Webster, 21st ahead of Max Wolf. Adam Hedgecock and Ross Nicholson, 23rd, 24th. Morgan Butler, another one who started at the back of the grid, 25th ahead of Michael Blake. Liam Atkins, 27th ahead of Daniele Giudici. John Roberts, 29th, and James Whitehouse after that spin at 30th place. Jason Rowe, 31st ahead of Jason Hodgson. Simon Field and Sean Gardner, your next 2 in 33rd and 34th, with Chris Byram, Lee Berridge, Simon Neller, Jonathan Walker, Matt Woodhouse after his spin at the last corner, and Chris Wood after his lap 1 incident. Tom Stevens, and then drivers 1 lap down, they will count towards the reverse grid. is Matt Bourne, Chris van der Ness and Lars van Rijn, and the man who finished stone dead last after having various technical issues, Josh Thompson, rounds out your 45 cars. Well, Chaz, for the penultimate time this evening, let's have a look at the spinning wheel to decide who is going to be on pole position.
A little honourable mention as well to Morgan Butler in that race. 18 places gained to 25th. He's in with a shout of being on reverse grid pole. Hello. Matt Bunn has just been the luckiest man in the world. There you go. That means that it's a full reverse grid.
So that means it's Lars van Rijn who starts on pole position.
Yes, indeed. But Chris van der Ness will be alongside him. Matt Bunn will be in third after running out of fuel. Make sure you put another litre or two in this time, buddy. Tom Stevens is fourth, and Chris Wood is fifth. He's actually got his teammate Mark Woodhouse behind him as well. So potential for some BMWs to do well here, Paul. But, well, I think Bunny's got a second chance.
We've not had a reverse grid, full reverse grid all season. We get it in the final round of the championship.
Arjun has just lost his head in the chat. I could hear him from here.
Well, Arjuna is the one and thank you very much to Arjuna as well, who created the reverse grid wheel for us. So thank you very much for that to help us out with this. Now, championship standings as they are at the moment. Ross McFarlane is now 30 points ahead of Nicole Foggy, with Turnbull in third place, 59 points behind. Those are the only three that can get the Pro Championship now. Pete Harrod is too far behind in fourth place. Matt Fletcher and the rest are all out of that one. And we can say congratulations to Tom Dadswell for a Pro-Am Championship. What
GG.
a way he is. The level of improvement that we've seen from Dadswell throughout this season has been absolutely tremendous, and it is thoroughly deserved, that Pro-Am Championship.
Yeah, definitely. And I was talking to Mark Fletcher just last week, and he said that Tom and himself have been doing a bit of coaching with, I don't know the guy's second name, I'm afraid, but it's a gentleman called Sven. So if you like what Dadswell's been doing, then obviously you might need to get in touch with him. But yeah, like you say, Paul, we love to see drivers develop over the course of a season and get better and better. And Dadswell's just been unbelievable. He's just been so consistent, and that's the difference. You know, we have these drivers that on one night they'll just bang, fly forward, and they'll just be like, we'll be thinking, where has that come from? But Dadswell's just always up there. You know, he's very much in the level where he can be in the pro category and do well. I mean, looking at the points sheet not long ago, he's fifth overall in the championship as well, which is just absolutely incredible stuff. He's been really, really good. And just coming back as well to the positions gained earlier, Adam Watson gained 25 spots from 31st on the grid to get to 16th. The next one back was Morgan Butler, who gained 18. So Adam had an absolute flyer there, and he's going to be hoping to be able to do that again now, because obviously he's been put really far back in the grid.
Absolutely. And to finish off then, the AM standings for the drivers, Brian Loyens now has a 34-point lead. It was 21 going into this week, so he's now a 34-point lead over Michael Blake, but that reverse grid will have helped Blake out there. Doyle in third is 125 points off. He's on the bubble now, along with Webster, who's 129 points off of taking that championship, because there's only 134 points available remaining. And we could say also congratulations to Pure Sims Esports for winning the Pro Teams Championship, and to Boosted Motorsport for winning the Pro-Am Teams Championship as well.
Go on,
so
boys.
We've only got 2 championships to decide, but they are so close. This one is going to the wire. You will not want to miss this one out. Stick around, because we've got 2 more races of action coming up for you here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be right back though after this.
To say the least, so far from a superstar. step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Look you. Stop. Look you. Just let me fall to my grave. Look you. Stop. Look you. Just let me fall to my grave. Heart fails under pressure. Wonder if these bad days will last forever. So pessimistic from the past. All the good things end up in caskets. I'm never feeling okay. Good days are so hard to find. Just help me numb all the pain. One step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Look you. Stop. Look you. Just let me fall to my grave. Look you. Stop. Look you. Just let me fall to my grave. killing me. Feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm never feeling okay. Good days are so hard to find. Just help me numb all the pain. I'm one step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. To kill stop. To kill. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Heart fails under pressure. Wonder if these bad days will last forever. So pessimistic from the past. All the good things end up in caskets. I'm never feeling okay. Good days are so hard to find. Just help me numb all the pain. I'm one step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. To kill. Stop. To kill. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave.
Welcome back to the World GT Championship here on RaceSpotTV. It is round number 12, the season finale of the championship, and well, we have got two champions yet to decide. We've already decided one champion in Tom Dadswell with the Pro-Am Championship, but the amateurs and the pros have yet to have their championship decided. Paul Smith and Chaz Draycott here for you for RaceSpotTV. We're getting ready for the start of the second race here, and Chaz, full reverse grid, the first time we've seen it this season. I can't wait. This is going to be it's going to be something else.
Yes, indeed. We love it when championships like this come right down to the wire. This is exactly why there's this many rounds. You know, you're giving everybody all the opportunities they need to get things sorted. And, well, I'm just really pleased that we get to do it here again at Circuit Barcelona, Catalunya. One of my favourite circuits in the world. It's been a bit of a Marmite track for a lot of people in the Formula One paddocks as well. But I love this sort of racing around here. Any GT racing or endurance racing, I feel like these cars really suit it. It's a bit of a challenge for them around here, especially things like the Audi. I mean, we saw before how quickly it can go one way then the other. Rear engine cars, obviously, all that weight at the rear end, they can just easily just drift their way around a corner, and you're not saving it here. And even if you do, it'll just spit you out the other way. So it's going to be intriguing to watch these last few. I'm interested in the fact that Josh Thompson is in the session, so he may still take reverse grid pole because he was actually no, because
he's 4 laps down.
Yes, very true. That's big brain Chaz forgetting the rules. But yeah, it could still be interesting to see Josh come through if his connection allows it. Just to see how he gains places again, but fingers crossed not getting himself in any trouble this time. He's probably just using it to test the waters and see what his connection can handle at the minute, because it's such a shame to have, but as we've mentioned before, you just sort of relate it to like a technical issue with a car, for example, don't you?
Yeah, you do, and it can happen to anyone. It's happened to many of us racing throughout sim racing as well. You are racing online, so you are going to have technical issues happen out there. Of course, don't forget, if you've been enjoying the World GT Championship, well, it's not the only coverage that we've got here for you today on RaceSpotTV. We've got Monday Night Skippies coming up in a few moments' time. Later on, there's some IndyCar action as well, so make sure you follow us here. Well, not just follow us, but also subscribe to us here on YouTube. Follow us on the social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and we're even on Twitch as well, so give us a follow on Twitch there, where Monday Night Skippies will be broadcast tonight, so make sure you check that one out. Well, I say check that one out. Don't check that one out, because you want to stick around here, because we have got the finale of the World GT Championship, and let's give you your grid for this race then. Well, Lars van Rijn finds himself on pole position ahead of Chris van der Ness. Matt Bunn and Tom Stevens row number 2, with Chris Wood and Matt Woodhouse row number 3. Jonathan Walker, Simon Neller on row 4. Row 5 for Lee Berridge and Chris Byron. Row 6 for Sean Gardner and Simon Field. Row 7 for Jason Hodgson. Jason Rowe. Row 8 for James Whitehouse and John Roberts. Row 9 for Daniele Giudici and Liam Atkins there. Row 10, Michael Blake and Morgan Butler. Row 11, Ross Nicholson and Adam Hedgecock, with Max Welf and Paul Webster rounding out row number 12.
We then have Andy Archer and Tom Dadswell, with Ben Gregory and Matthew Doyle just behind. Following them is Adam Watson, star from Race 1, with Andy Scheel alongside him. Then it's Brian Loynes and Mike Horder, with Jesse Jones and Alex Neller on the 17th row, ahead of Season 7 champion and double British Touring Car champion Ash Sutton. Then we have their teammates and stablemates, Dave Baker and Ben Palmer, with Mark Fletcher alongside Kenneth Gulbranson rounding out your 40, Mike Lovedokas 41st, Matt Turnbull 42nd, and the last 3 on the grid are Nickel McFoggy? Oh God, Nickel Foggy, Ross McFarlane and Josh Thompson. That's going to have to be my new name for Nickel Foggy now. Oh.
Well, we are getting ready for the start of this one, and Lars van Rijn for Boosted Motorsport, what a position he finds himself in at the front of the field. We've waited all season for this to happen. Now, Tom Stevens, I can tell you, has not taken to the grid, so that means that we're going to be minus 1 driver at the start. Everybody else, though, has taken to that grid. Through the final corner they come. We're all set for 20 minutes of action here in race 2. Green flag will be in the air, and we're underway once again here in the World GT Championship. The car's flying across the line there. Absolutely sensational. We're going 2-3 wide into turn number 1. Matt Bunn's going to the inside. Chris van der Ness to the head of your field. Matt Woodhouse and his teammate Chris Wood, 4th and 5th place. We've got an accident further down. We've got cars in the wall, and one of them is our series sponsor, Jonathan Walker.
Well, he's going to have a long walk back to the pits after that, I'm afraid. Very much buried in the gravel trap. We've got Chris van der Ness, though. Fantastic stuff from him so far. Oh, we've got more cars going off. Michael Blake is involved. We've got a number of them.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Humongous accident. Further back, there's so many cars involved. So many of them. And the yellow is out.
That is absolutely crazy to see. Andy Scheel involved in that one. You said Michael Blake was involved. Well, his car has got damage to to the front of it.
There's over 11 cars in that, by the look of it. Big old chunk of our field wiped out by that. We've got a number of drivers going slow.
One car looks like it's not running very well out there. I think it's Nicole Foggy. Oh, Foggy is... I think everything's trying to sort itself out.
Yeah, because they'll be getting told by the sim, let this car through, let this car through, and a lot of them are all slowing down to let people through, but then they're wondering, right, who else do we need to let through as well?
Let's try and have a... Oh, we're way too late on that one. Michael Blake actually avoided most of that, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe he got involved in the initial pair of cars.
I think it was one of his teammates, perhaps. So possibly Liam Atkins or... well, let's have a look. There's Liam Atkins. It's all going a bit crazy. There's a spinner there.
Yeah, it's Blake and Whitehouse, I think, made contact.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Blake's just waiting in it all. He's one of the originals to drop down because he's just waiting for it all to clear up. He's got a Lamborghini parked across the front of him. And then that's all he can manage. It looked to me like Whitehouse maybe turned in and Blake was still there because he gets a great run here. Look, he's got a wider bit of turn 3 to go around. Gets a bit of pace on it. Turns in. He's on the curb. And yeah, Whitehouse, the corner just closes off for him there. And then he waits. And then the rest of them, I think just in avoidance on the left, it just piles up. Look at that. M25.
If that's what the M25 looks like, I don't want to be driving on it. Who were some of those that got involved in that?
I think Ben Shields' Mercedes went up in the air, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Andy Shield did, yes. Let's get a look from his point of view. Try and get a look from him. So he's just suddenly... Well, the track's blocked. There's a RSR car gets involved with him. There's other RSR cars involved. One of the 3M cars, that's David Baker, I believe. And everybody just scatters. Cold tyres, don't forget, as well. Such a big issue here at the start of the race.
Yeah, we've seen this for, I think, well, since about season 7, when they started to really mess with the tyres. It does take a lot longer for them to heat up, and these cars are a lot more, let's call them piggish. Look at that. Some big hits in there. I think Ben Palmer went flying over to the left.
Foggy immediately onto the brakes and has come out completely clean out of all of that.
Yeah. But then he has to give it all back because the yellow came out. I'm sorry,
Fallon is in 35th. Foggy at the moment is 26th. That's huge.
Yeah, we've had
Matt Turnbull, 21st.
Yeah, we've got some incredible gains. Turnbull's gained 21 places. He's the biggest mover. Sutton's gained 18 to be 18th. 13 places gained for Ben Gregory, who's the 113 car. And then we've got Foggy gaining 17, Thompson gaining 18, McFarlane gaining 10 still, but, well, it's certainly thrown a spanner in the works for the championship, and of course it means that there's less time for them to move forward now the race goes on.
Look at the front end of Liam Atkins' car. That's taken... I know you don't like looking at the front of the BMW, but it's taken some real assault to that car from that incident.
I think it's improved the look of it at the front, to be honest. But no, in fairness, it's that's not going to feel great for the rest of this race, but he may as well drive on with that damage because he's... Well, I was going to say he's a bit further up the order than he would be in some other races, but he's in the middle at the minute, and yeah, he is actually going in, so he's just thought, you know what, stuff it. I'd rather have a car that feels good. He's also being joined in the pits by
Brian
Mercedes.
Brian Lyons, your AM Championship leader, onto pit road to get repairs done to that car. Oh, look at this is a pit party here. So it's a case of who needs repairs, get them done. Now, we'll have to see how this all pans out. The pace car will be coming in this lap, by the way. Now, a pit stop doesn't normally take that long, Brian, to get a fast repair. So, oh my goodness, Andy Shield!
Oh, Andy. Oh, Andy. What is it for the admins tonight? It's definitely a last day of school, isn't it?
You better not reverse too far because he'll end up with a penalty.
There you go. Maybe he saw Brian Lloyd's getting the fast repair and he thought, you know what would be funny? I'm going to reverse into the front of his car. But there are a lot
he
of
won't
cars.
thank me for doing this, but it's a, where's my pit box? Where's my pit box? Oh, it's there. And he's made contact with Walker.
With the series sponsor. Oh, Andy. Oh, they'll be laughing their heads off about that. I believe they're in the same Discord chat right now as well, actually. I'll have a quick look. They are not, actually, no. Andy's in a different one. He's in a different chat to Jonathan Walker, but I imagine the pair of them are absolutely laughing their heads off at the minute, because it's just one of those moments where, you know, it's it's a grateful moment that it's sim racing. You don't have to pay for the damage of the car.
Right, let's take stock of where we are then. So it's Chris van der Ness in the lead of this one, ahead of Matt Bunn with Lars van Rijn in third place. The first pro driver is Chris Wood in fourth. Now, in terms of championships, Matt Turnbull is up in, if my eyes do not deceive me, they do, 20th place for Matt. He is ahead of Nicole Fogg, who's in 24th, and Ross McFarlane in 32nd. They're your pro championship drivers who are looking to get some points. Now, your amateurs, we're looking out for Paul Webster. I think he got caught up in all of those shenanigans by the looks of things. I can't spot him. Also Matt Doyle as well. You're really helping me out here, Charles. Thank you so much.
I'm just
Matt Doyle has actually been in the pits and he's down in 44th.
But he's second on the road. That confused the life out of me then.
Yeah, he's a lap down.
Yeah, and Jesse Jones has just put in the Discord that he passed someone under the safety car going into the pits apparently and got a stop-and-go penalty. That's why he's right at the back.
Yeah, Jesse Jones is back on pit road, actually.
Yeah.
So Michael Blake is 34th. Brian Lawrence is 40th. I mean, Blake would have hoped for a better result than that. And Webster, where's Webster? Well, anyway, it doesn't matter because the pace car is going in. So, sorry, Paul, but we'll be looking forward here for the restart. 11.5 minutes remain of this race. Green flag will be coming out once again, and this is a great opportunity for Van der Ness to get a victory here. He'll be hoping for some big moves further back as we've got cars off in the gravel. That's one of the Pure Sims cars. Oh, it's all going on here.
It's the last day of school, isn't it? Definitely last day of school here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. They've been given a Spanish holiday to round the season out with, and everybody's gotten a bit, they've got a bit sunstroke and gone a bit nuts by the look of it. We ride on board with Chris Wood, just trying to get past Lars van Rijn in the Ferrari in front of him. Team Mad and Boosted, two massive rivals in the sim racing world. We've got more cars off. Ben Gregory and Jason Rowe are going down the order in the background. I think they're at the same corner that we had it before. They are. There's a rejoin of sorts, and I think Ben Gregory's still sat there.
There's a car in the wall.
Jason
I just
Rowe
saw
there.
a car in the wall.
Foggy's going down.
Oh,
Foggy's
yes.
caught up in it.
Yes, Foggy's caught up in that. My goodness. Oh, there's Paul Webster. Well, that's where he is. He's in the gravel trap right now. Foggy, one of your championship rivals, he's found himself getting involved in somebody else's mess once again.
That's Jason Rowe around, then Ben Gregory. There's contact in front. And,
Thompson into the back of him. Now, which is that SimStickers car? Is that Lyons? It is, with the yellow wheels.
It's Giudici. It's Daniele Giudici. They've got very, very similar coloured wheels this season, and it bothered me early on. Daniele goes for fluoro yellow.
Yes,
thank you, Daniele.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Getting me all excited there for the championships. Well, this does and will change everything happening out there on track. So Matt Turnbull is on a charge. He's up to 13th. Lee Berridge is on pit road. He's obviously got a drive-through penalty or a stop and hold. We're going to have to take stock of all of this and find out what's happening here. Matt Bunn trying to attack your race leader, Van der Ness. This is the one time where really we want to look at the race leader, but we've also wanted to concentrate on the championship as well. Matt Turnbull behind, team boss Ash Sutton Do you think there'll be much defence happening there? I don't see there being.
No. But, you know, Turnbull's been amazing this season. He's another driver that we've just seen develop over time. Ash has got quite a bit of damage to the front of his car as well as he chases down the 2 boosted Lamborghinis. And then the other boosted car just in front of them, which is Simon Neller, not Lars van Rijn, as I said earlier on. Luckily, they're in the same camp, but yeah, it's just number 7s all over a car was what I saw. That's Sean Gardner running a little bit wide. Ash Sutton and John Roberts, they've had plenty of comings together in the past in the BSRTC, but Ash this time not having that. Whoa, Turnbull looks down the inside. He did so well to not make contact there.
Well, he did the right thing there. He knows he's got to be squeaky clean in all of that. We've got McFarlane's off. My goodness! The Pro Championship leader is in the wall, and I think he's out of this one.
I can imagine something's been thrown across the room there. That car's going nowhere. Has he just lost it on his own? Because I was talking earlier about what the Audi does. It's a real pig when the back end wants to get away. It looked to me like it
on
was...
the curb.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a hardware failure.
Yeah, something's gone completely wrong there. It's just gone straight on, and that'll have been why it's not coming back out the wall. Oh, man. Out of all times for it to happen. That's unbelievable. Because we thought it was going to go one way with Foggy being involved in that accident. And now, in typical fashion, on the last day of the season, Ross McFarlane has a hardware failure. And now it's him that's on the back foot. Foggy may only be in 33rd place, but he's still going to get a bunch of points for it. And for McFarlane's going to get none.
Well, Turnbull is the one then to look at this. The man who's really come on in this championship.
Oh, Thompson in the background. Sorry, Paul. Thompson's in the background with Max Wolf, Sean Gardner. Sean was already saying to me last week he's fallen out of love with league racing with the amount of incidents he's been having. And I think that's going to top it off. He's still off the circuit. There he is. Sorry, Paul, just caught my eye there in the background.
Yeah, so, well, Thompson's ahead of them. So he must have had an issue through here.
Morgan and Watson can make contact.
So it was not Thompson, it was Watson getting involved there with Morgan.
Yeah, we've seen that before, haven't we? Like, front right to left rear. It just lifted the left rear of Watson's car off the ground and spun it around. Oh, it's such a shame for all the other guys as well, because Morgan's the one that got away with it. I'm not sure whether it was Watson running wide or Morgan not leaving the room down the inside, but either way, they've had it happen now, and they need to try and crack on. A number of the drivers got away with it very, very well, though. But look at this man, Matt Turnbull. Like you say, Paul, he has come on so well, and he continues to be really strong in this championship. 34 places gained in this race so far.
It's been a dramatic race. I mean, full reverse grid. You kind of expected there was going to be a bit of shenanigans going on, but we've not expected this level. Here comes Turnbull on Ash Sutton, multiple-time British Touring Car champion. Well, he's got damage to his car, and he can't match what Turnbull is doing in that Lamborghini. So the Freem, the Pure Sims with Freem car is certainly doing well and moving forward in your field up to 7th place. His next championship rival in terms of the Pro Championship is Nicole Foggy, and look at that. Well, it's showing 44th. I don't know why. The graphics are just playing up a little bit, so just give me a moment. But yeah, Foggy is down there in 28th at the moment.
Yeah, 15 places gained still as well, so, I mean, by my standards, that'll be a good race, but obviously it's not the positions that Foggy would be expecting. And can you believe this? Matt Bunn at the front of the pack. I hope he's got enough fuel in it this time round, but Bunny doing what he's wanted to do for a long time this season and be right out front with a little bit of a gap behind. It's barely even a second to Chris van der Nest, but we know how fast Chris can be as well. We've got the other Chris, Mr. Wood, just behind him, and then also sharing a word in their name, Mark Woodhouse is there. There's not really much that matches with Lars van Rijn, but he's in 5th. And then we've got the Chris Akabusi tracksuit car in 6th place with Chris Byram, who usually is the man that benefits from reverse grids, as we found out at the start of last season, Paul.
Yeah, he's not had the best of seasons this season as Byram. He's got Turnbull behind him now, and you would think matter of time really for Matt to make his way past Chris. But Chris Byram, it's been a difficult season this season, but he's having a good show here in this final race. 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining this one. Here comes Turnbull to the inside. Space not space given by both. And I think Byron realises, do you know what? That is not my battle. As there goes Sutton as well to the inside. Byron just wants to get some really good points here.
Yeah, that's it. You just need to play it safe sometimes. And I think what he's doing there is he's realised what he's fighting for at this point, and it is not any of the business of the guys that are around him there overtaking him. You know, he thinks, compared to some of my other results, this could help me in the AM Championship. It may not be for an overall win, but at the end of the day, it could just help me with those bragging rights a little bit further up the order. He knows he doesn't need to fight against Sutton and Turnbull there. And, you know, he might even think the same about Simon Neller, who's behind. He's then got Morgan Butler behind him. But this is a man that needs to think about the AM Championship. Michael Blake in the Immortal BMW M4 GT3. He's 5 places down on where he started so far in this race. But in fairness, it's sturdy pace in the middle of the pack, which is what he needed.
Look at that though, Brian Lyons, not that far behind him in 27th, your AM Championship leader. He was caught up in the initial accident on lap 1 at turn number 4, and he's right behind. That's really panned out well for Brian out of all of this.
Yeah, indeed. But this is the thing now, him being in the vicinity of Michael Blake. Oh, not like that though, Brian. Flipping X Sunshine. He needs to be just filling Michael's mirrors. He knows if he finishes right behind him, he's still all right for the championship. He just needs to make sure that gap doesn't open up too much. He could happily just get behind Michael and just put pressure on him. Doesn't need to make the move. Speaking of making moves though, Matt Turnbull up another position now into 5th overall, and what a turnaround this has been, Paul. This has been an epic finale already, and we've still got one race to go after this.
Yes, this isn't over yet, everybody. Make sure you stick around, because we've got one more race after this, and we've got a reverse grid for that race as well. Ash Sutton getting past Lars Van Rijn now. So Van Rijn, your pole sitter, just trying to get as good a result as possible out of this race. Morgan Butler getting past Simon Neller up a position. Now Morgan, he is out of the Amateur Championship, so he's just trying to get some good points and have a good finish to the season. It's not really been his greatest season, this one so far. Jonathan Walker's falling down the order pretty fast. Brian Lyons and Nicole Foggy making their way past. In fact, Foggy making his way past. Look at the damage to Foggy's car. He is not happy with that.
No, definitely not. It looks like Chris Wood and Chris Van der Ness have just swapped round at the front as well, actually. Chris Wood now dropping back behind Van der Ness as the two of them battle away. Very close in the final section of the lap, but you were right, Paul. That damage on Foggy's car won't be helping him. Van der Ness is going to be screaming in his rearview mirror now, because not only does he have to look at the front of one of those BMWs, he's got to look at 2 of them. And now they're going to get a bucket load of slipstream, and when a car is that big, it needs it from a slippery Lamborghini in front of it like that.
No, this is Turnbull, who's right at the back of this queue, so he's just rocketed up. Turnbull could get 2nd place out of this, you know.
He definitely could. And how much does that thing in the middle of the dashboard look like one of them communication devices from the Teletubbies years ago? Never noticed that. But he's got those 2 BMWs filling his windscreen at the moment. Turn 3, very difficult to get right, but it's the sort of corner that separates the quicker drivers from some of the guys a bit further back in the pack. And I'm not sure whether Woodhouse is going to bother fighting this too hard. Turnbull down the inside. And this is one of those championship competitive drives that you see from these sort of guys, don't you, where they just make their way through the field. You know, similar to what we've seen from the likes of Colin Turkington in the British Touring Car Championship later on in the season. You know, they start like 25th or something and end up 2nd by the end of the race. This is one of those drives from Matt Turnbull, and he's really staking his claim, but Woodhouse isn't making it easy.
No, he's not. He's fighting this one to the death. I think that's going to sort itself out now as they go through turn number 9 there. So up to 4th place now for Turnbull. This is incredible. Oh, we've got an instant. Oh, John Roberts. Oh, there's cars in the middle of the road. Oh, and that's Michael Blake, is it?
It is, yeah. Michael Blake, Yvonne. Look at Lointer in the middle.
And he's got his car's crabbing. Oh, and even more contact.
Oh, no.
This is the final lap. We're going to have to look forward, though, because Matt Bunn, who would have known, the man who ran out of fuel last race, couldn't set up a session to save his life, has got himself a race win here in the final round of the championship for Pure Sims 3M. Fantastic. Matt Turnbull finishes the race in 4th place. That was sensational. Now looking down, amateur drivers, what is happening with that? Michael Blake is crabbing his car around. Oh, he's got involved in that accident at the end. So that means that Brian Lyons is going to finish.
Adam.
Oh,
No. Hedgecock didn't compensate for the different speed there. He didn't want to lose a place to the car behind Adam Watson, and he did anyway, and Michael's not even finished the race.
Let's see if we could try and see anything that happened of this accident. We're going to have to rewind this a bit more. Blake was well out of control there. So let's see what we can try and find of what happened here. So there was Foggy behind.
Nicholson and Roberts, wasn't it, that had the initial incident.
So Blake's slowing down. He's seen the accident, and they reversed right at the wrong time.
Look
Did
at Lyons.
Roberts and Lyons. Oh, talk about skinning the cat.
Oh, flipping heck. That's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, though, isn't it? As here we go. Hold on to your hats, everybody, because look at that Walker down the... Whoa,
that was a bit of a...
Hello.
I think that might be why Hedgecock was a bit upset.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But you'll see the accident's already happened in front. Michael Blake goes to the right, just gets that contact from Roberts, and then ready. That one will do, that one will do, that one will do. Thanks very much. And you didn't even see how close Walker got when he came back on as well there, but... Again, as I've said, that's racing. That's how the cookie crumbles. I'm surprised that Michael Blake didn't just finish the race, though, to be honest, because he was at the last corner. He could have turned it round and just crossed the line for the points. I'm not sure whether he'll still get them after that, though, but it's such a shame for him because at the end of the day, he tried to avoid an incident, and there was the tiniest of touches, but that's the sort of thing that can break your suspension and ruin your night.
Well, Matt Bunn ends up winning this one by 2 seconds. A tip of the hat to Performance Link Esports driver Chris van der Ness. Managed to stay up there at the front of your field to finish in 2nd place. Chris Wood, he'll be happy with that after a race 1 incident to get himself in 3rd place. Matt Turnbull, 4th. What a drive. Almost potentially a champion's drive there from Matt to finish in 4th place. Ash Sutton, 5th, ahead of Matt Woodhouse in 6th place. Lars van Rijn, 7th, and then your top AM driver is Chris Byram in 8th place ahead of Morgan Butler 9th, and Matt Fletcher, he's one that moved up through the field as well in 10th place. Michael Evdoka 11th ahead of Simon Neller, Ben Palmer and Alex Neller 13th and 14th with Tom Dadswell. He's just having a victory lap here in 15th place. Kenneth Gould-Branson 16th ahead of Tom Stevens and James Whitehouse. Pete Harrod and Ben Gregory round out your top 20. Nicole Foggy then, he will be fuming from that race there. 21st place for him. Brian Lyons 22nd. He's got himself some good points over Michael Blake, although I don't think it's the way he would have wanted to have done that. Simon Field 23rd ahead of Max Wolf 24th. Jonathan Walker 25th and Lee Berridge, Mike Horder 26th, 27th. Jason Rowe, John Roberts and Adam Watson round out your top 30. Sean Gardner then in 31st ahead of Andy Archer. David Baker, he'll be wishing the season ends now, by the way. It's been going for him in this final round. Paul Webster 34th ahead of Adam Hedgecock and Ross Nicholson. Michael Blake does score points, but he's 1 lap down in 37th place. Matthew Doyle 38th ahead of Jason Hodgson. Daniele Giudici in 40th. And then 3 laps down or more, Andy Shield, Josh Thompson, Liam Atkins. There's the big one though, your Pro Championship leader, Ross McFarlane, in 44th, scoring no points. And Jesse Jones rounds out your 45 drivers. Well, we've got one more race to go here yet, Chaz. Anything could happen here. Let's get this reverse grid drawn and see where all this lies in the championship.
Full reverse. Full reverse. I know that a lot of people will be shouting for it again. Looks like we're going to get 28, and we are indeed. That puts Jason Rowe on pole position, and John Roberts will be gutted because he finished 29th after that incident. He's just missed out there. Mike Horder will be 2nd. Lee Berridge will be 3rd. Jonathan Walker 4th, and Max Wolf will be in 5th. So we've got 2 AMs and 3 Pro-Ams up there right near the front. This could get very, very spicy once again. But, of course, it hasn't helped out anyone like Ross McFarlane, because Ross is going to be all the way back down there still with a lot of work to do. In the championship points, it is incredibly close now in the pros.
Yeah.
McFarlane, 8 points ahead of Nickel Foggy. Turnbull, 17 points behind him. That is just unbelievable. There's still a mathematical chance for Michael Blake. He's 53 points off from Brian Loynes, so he's not out of the question yet. Brian could have a bad race. Michael could come back through. You never know. But that Pro Championship, Paul, we're not going to be able to call anything till the last corner, I don't think.
This is going to be absolutely crazy, and as pointed out by Michael Gray, Nicole Foggy's going to be starting in 9th place. That is huge for him. Ross McFarlane, if he's got his problem fixed, he's going to be starting all the way at the back of the grid. Matt Turnbull, he's going to be starting, what, in 24th, 23rd? 24th. This is genuinely the most dramatic championship finale I can remember for this championship. And as we say, it's been going for 9 seasons now. This is incredible how close that is. Say, Michael Blake, I know exactly what he'll be like in... with what the outcome of that was, because he'll be various expletives will have been said. And what really doesn't help Michael Blake here, though, Brian Loynes finished that race in 22nd.
Yeah, it's
a tall order for Michael now in the AM Championship.
Yeah, and he'll be gutted to have done it that way as well. Not just, it's easier to sort of accept that sort of thing sometimes when you've had a fair race with somebody, and you've just maybe not been on the pace, and the other person's just been faster than you and been able to make more progress. When he didn't do anything wrong himself. To be fair, John didn't. They were more over to the right-hand side of the track. He was just trying to get off the circuit. He was just trying to get away from it.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing malicious there at all.
Yeah,
no.
Oh, God, yeah, no. But at the end of the day, it's harder to accept like that when it's been an incident that's done it. He'll obviously be a lot more annoyed about the end contact as well with Hedgecock, but Adam didn't want to lose the place to, Adam, in honesty, because he had Watson right behind him as well. And, he wanted to compromise and slow down a bit. I don't think he expected how slow Michael Blake's car would be at that point, and then that second contact. It's a shame he didn't complete the race, but I think he might have, because he was still on the lead lap technically by the time the race had finished. I think he might have still got the points, but yeah, either way, it's going to be a very spicy way to end the season. I'm very, very glad that we can be here to do this, and I mean, what a track to do it. Nothing is ever definite in this championship, so let's go. That's what I've got to say.
Well, we've got one more race to go here in this championship finale. You couldn't write this script, that's for sure. Make sure you stick around, because we'll be bringing you that championship finale right after this.
Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Heart fails under pressure. Wonder if these bad days will last forever. So pessimistic from the past. All the good things end up in caskets. I'm never feeling okay. Good days are so hard to find. Just help me numb all the pain. One step from dying. My angels keep it at bay. Can't blame the people for trying. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave. Secure. Stop. Secure. Just let me fall to my grave. Just let me fall to my grave.
Well, it all comes down to this. One final round of the World GT Championship here on RaceSpotTV. The AM Championship, it's one hand on the trophy for Brian Lyons. But that Pro Championship, just 17 points cover first to third place. It's Ross McFarlane, Nicole Foggy and Matt Turnbull for those positions. Paul Smith and Chaz Draycott joining you on stream for you tonight. And well, Chaz, we've had the little bit of a break now. We've calmed down
Just
after that last race because that was sensational.
Yeah.
One more round to go to decide it all.
Yeah. I think we've just got to take this as it comes now. We can't really make any predictions from it. I mean, McFarlane's going to be right at the back of the pack. Foggy's going to be right near the front. There's 8 points in it, and after just looking at the points then, first to fourth, there's only 2 points difference per each position. After that, it's 1 point different. So if Foggy wins, which there's a large chance that he could, the others have to be in the top 4. We've seen McFarlane come through from very far back before. He's very, very good at it. So is Turnbull. Is it possible?
Well, one thing that would not help Ross is if we get a safety car, because we saw with that last race there, we only had about 11.5 minutes remaining of the race when we went green again. So if there's any safety car in this first lap, you could pretty much write goodbye to the championship for Ross.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not what we would have been expecting coming into this. You know, we had maybe about 10, 12 positions worth of points as a buffer either side for either of them at this stage. But that's just been blown out the window now. And the thing is, it comes down to something that we would see in the real world when it's a technical failure or a hardware failure. You can never predict when they're going to happen. They do happen more for some people than they do for others, such as the internet-related stuff. You know, you'd think Josh Thompson, Jesse Jones, that they've had more consistent issues, but that's just, I mean, I hate using the phrase because I've used it twice already, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You know, luck is a thing in motorsport, I'm afraid, and we get that in sim racing as well. So it's pretty insane, but we are going to crack onto things now and just see what we get given.
Yeah, this is going to be a tremendous finale. The final race of the final round of Season 9 of the World GT Championship. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us throughout this season. It has been tremendous action to bring you here on RaceSpotTV. But let's bring you your grid for the final round of the championship. And it's Jason Rowe who's on pole position. Alongside him is Mike Horder. Lee Berridge and Jonathan Walker share row number 2. Max Wolf and Simon Field row number 3. Row 4 for Brian Lyons. He's won in the AM Championship, and he's going to have one hand on it in their 7th place. Nicole Foggy, what can he do from 8th place? He needs to win this one to give himself the best opportunity of a championship. Ben Gregory and Pete Harrod 9th and 10th, with row 6 being James Whitehouse and Tom Stevens. Kenneth Gould-Branson, Tom Dadswell, Alex Neller, Ben Palmer, Simon Neller and Michael Evdoka, with Mark Fletcher and Morgan Butler rounding top at the row number 10. Chris Byram, Lars Van Rijn, Matt Woodhouse and Ash Sutton row number 12.
We then have Matt Turnbull, championship hopeful, with Chris Wood, Chris Van Der Ness, Matt Bunn, John Roberts and Adam Watson rounding out your top 30. Row 16 is Sean Gardner and Andy Archer, with Dave Baker and Paul Webster just behind. They've then got Adam Hedgecock and Ross Nicholson. Sorry, Adam. Michael Blake and Matthew Doyle, Jason Hodgson and Daniele Giudici. Andy Shield 41st, Josh Thompson 42nd. Then Liam Atkins, Ross McFarlane and Jesse Jones.
Well, here we are then, the final time this season, and we're getting set for the start of this one, and it's Jason Rowe on pole position. He's not had a season to remember as Jason. He's actually come into this race in 6th place in the AM Championship, and he's trying to catch Andy Archer to get 5th in the AM Championship. So you never say never for Jason. He just needs some really, really good points out of this final race. Chris Byram doesn't appear to have taken the start, neither has John Roberts. He sat on pit road, so they're decided that the pit lane is the best place to go, but we're going to get the green flag in the air for the final time here in the World GT Championship Season 9. Across the line, cars charging down towards turn number 1. And who's it going to be? It is going to be, late dive from Horder. And Rose being hit. That's Lee Berridge who's turned the pole sitter around. He gets collected by another car.
I think that might have been Dad's one.
There's a spinner. Middle of turn number 3. Will they keep it out of the way? There's Morgan Butler spun around as well. Everything's staying clear for the time being. Pete Harrod, Nicole Foggy together on track right now as they run through turn number 4 into turn 5. So far, so good.
Foggy close to the back of Ben Palmer there, now close to Harrod as well. He's on a fine line at the minute, is Nicol. Needs to be very careful, as we've discussed before, Paul. He may have his teammates behind him. He's got a fantastic rear gunner in Ben Palmer there. Nothing gets past Ben, so he can be very confident there, but obviously the car in front, no, it's not a Toyota, it's Pete Harrod in the 21 machine, Pure Sims Esports. Obviously, teams champions now, but Foggy is part of Pure Sims OBP, so they are going to be fighting one another. Nicol tries to go around the outside. Look at that, very late on the brakes. Lovely stuff. He's going to be on the inside for the next corner now. Then he can surely try and have a go at Ben Gregory, should he get past Pete around here. He's going to get that job done, is he? Yes, nice stuff from Nicol Foggy, and he's already, he's actually lost the place from where he started. That was close there for the number 23, Brian Loynes.
Yeah, what a launch for Loynes, up into 4th place for him. Rest of your field coming through. Start the second lap. Big accident for somebody. I think that was Sutton.
Yeah, Sutton's been in the wall hard. He's backwards on the circuit, waits for everyone to go by. Still more traffic to go. Spins it back around, but that Audi R8 has had a real hit. Foggy's off! Foggy's dropping down the order.
We'll come to that in a second. We're looking at the replay, first of all, of Sutton. We'll get to Foggy in a moment.
He's out. He's in the pits. Stevens and Woodhouse.
We'll get to that in a moment. Right now, here's Sutton. He's gone off. And then we'll look forward to Nicole Foggy. So what has happened into turn number 1 on the brakes? Into the back. Into the back of Stevens. Now, is that car...
collected.
Well, is that car just done? Has he got damage? He's got too much damage. He realises
he back to the pits. Oh, man, we've got more cars going off as well. Jesse Jones and Ross Nicholson and Morgan Butler have just gone off. We also had... There was another pair that went off with them, but I just lost out who that was there. But there's cars dropping like flies here. In all of this, McFarlane's up to 23rd place. Matt Turnbull is up to 11th. It's unbelievable.
This championship just keeps on giving us drama. Ross McFarlane, there he is. He's in the middle of the pack here in 23rd right now. He needs to carry on moving forward. And he's not able to get through. This is, he's trying to get past Chris van der Ness, and he's going to do it, so that's up another position. As you mentioned, Turnbull up to 11th place in all this. Mike Horder, your race leader, I never thought that he was going to make that turn 1, but he did. And look at that, 2nd place. It's hardly believable. Up 11 places for Kenneth Goldbranson. He took advantage of the chaos that happened at the start. He's up into 2nd place.
Yeah, it's epic stuff at the moment. Looking at the standings, Turnbull is only 6 points behind McFarlane at the moment, so Ross still needs to make some more progress to get a safe buffer, but Turnbull needs to take it easy in amongst these quick drivers around him as well. He's got Mark Fletcher in front of him, then Pete Harrod as well. That's Fletcher on the right. Ben Gregory in there. Like you said before, Paul, while he's going through all this, he needs to stay squeaky clean and make sure there's no penalties, nothing against him come the end of the season.
Certainly, as he goes through the chicane, he's gained 2 positions in 2 corners there. Gregory's all over the place. There's a car off, and that's Evdoka. Evdoka's now the latest one off. Dadswell's dropping down the order as well. He's had a spin. Everything's happening at one point here.
I think when Fletcher went off, I think Dadswell got clipped in somebody trying to avoid it, you know. I think there was a touch there from him, which is a real shame because despite wrapping the championship up, Dadswell has not had any of this easy yet, has he? He's certainly been in the wars from then on.
Yeah, it's not been the round to write home about as this one, but he secured the championship. That was the most important thing. Ben Palmer, he's looking busy here. He wants to get past Max Wolf here. Here he is in the Audi Lamborghini, and that Ferrari, Lee Berridge at the front of it. Oh, don't say they're going to go 3 wide into 1. They're not, but Palmer's trying to follow through there. Little bit of a rub between Berridge and Wolf, and Palmer, he doesn't know where to go in all of this.
Yeah, Ben Palmer just trying every trick in the book that he can at the moment. I'm trying to keep the maths going in the background as well. There's 8 points between McFarlane and Turnbull now. It looks like Foggy's way out of it. He's nearly 25 points off Matt Turnbull now is Foggy, and it looks to me like he's out of the race. That's a real shame because he was on the brink of taking his 3rd championship title and being the most winningest championship, well, no, just having the most titles, that's the easiest way of saying it, in the World GT Championship. This is Turnbull just trying to chase down Pete Harrod. Brian Loynes has gone down to 7th place, which means he'll get 51. That was close indeed.
That's Walker. Jonathan Walker and Loynes swapping paint. One of them saying...
Sorry, I'm getting excited here. Dadswell and Baker are off, or at least Dadswell still is. I think Baker's come back on.
Palmer to the outside. Palmer to the outside of 10, trying to work his way around Lee Berridge. Now, Berridge is a hard defender here. He will not give over that easy. But Palmer's got the inside through 11, and he chops the nose off there through 12. That's quite brave from Ben, really, because, as I say, Berridge, he doesn't give up without a fight, and now he seems to be the cork in the bottle here. And look at this, Turnbull now, he's trying to get the run on Pete Harrod. You got Loynes and Wolf trying to make the way past Berridge. Where do they all sort themselves out? We'll have to wait and see. Down into 1, Turnbull to the outside of Harrod in 1. Berridge has been turned, Loynes is around as well. That's your amateur championship leader.
Oh, I can't believe this. Honestly, he's still backwards in the road. He doesn't want to reverse there. Everyone's going to go past him. Wait for Michael Blake to come through. He's going to be laughing his head off. There he goes. Michael Blake makes his way through. It's
asking a lot of Blake, though, as Loynes is dropping all the way down. 37th. Yeah, I think 37th, 38th is going to be where he comes out. That's not going to be a championship winning position for Blake, but... still, that has huge implications. It'll be squeaky bum time for Brian Loynes in that one.
Yeah, definitely. There's still 41 points between the pair of them as things stand at the moment. Matt Turnbull up in 5th position will be getting 53 points from that. But Ross McFarlane has made it all the way up into 14th as off goes Simon Neller in the 777.
David Baker involved. I think Sean Gardner as well.
Dave's had a real nightmare race. I think he got involved in the incident before with... who else was in that one? I think it was Dadswell. Let's see what happened to Neller.
So something's happening. So Neller's hit the grass on the corner entry. Baker's tried to avoid and got caught up with...
is that Simon Field?
No, it was Gardner.
I don't think that one. I don't think the one that Baker hit was, because Gardner's usually got a teal car. That was one of the split blue and orange ones. It was either Field or who's the other one that races him? It's not Hedgecock, because he's in the Ferrari. It was one of them.
it was a boosted car. That's the problem when you got multiple cars in the same class.
Berridge, that was the other one.
Yeah, as Turnbull to the inside of Max Wolf. Wolf in the Evo SR car has been quite impressive since he joined the championship. Getting involved in that one, but Turnbull up another position into 4th place here. We're almost halfway through this race now. It's Mike Horder who leads this one, but only just 3/4 of a second ahead of Kenneth Gulbranson. Then Ben Palmer, who's about 6 seconds back from Gulbranson, and then Turnbull. Now Turnbull will want to try and get past Palmer. he'll try everything that he can to do that. By the way, Ross McFarlane, 14th now behind Ben Gregory.
Yeah, Ross is absolutely on it at the moment. Absolutely on it. More progress being made. He's going to go up to 13th. Very close to contact there. He's just playing it safe here. He doesn't want to play those games. He still wants to flash the lights, though. Scary, scary stuff at the minute for Ross. 14th position as he looks back down the inside. He's putting the pressure back on Ben. He's on to get 44 points here. As they are now, McFarlane will be champion by just 7 points. Turnbull has been a real star in this race. He's gained 21 places. Josh Thompson in 6th has gained 36 places in this race. And McFarlane, he really wants to win this championship. He's gained 30.
Yeah, and Turnbull is having a few technical issues of his own as well. So we'll keep an eye on that one. It'd be tragic to see him lose the championship in that way. You could have said the same about McFarlane having that issue in race number 2. There goes Ross down the inside of Gregory. That's up to 13th now for Ross McFarlane. So more positions and more points gained. He has got Alex Neller and Matt Bunn in front of him. Now Bunn, he needs to help his teammate out here, doesn't he? He needs to help Turnbull out, does Matt Bunn?
Yeah, he needs to be working pretty hard here. Just to... It's all about fortification with your teammates, isn't it, really? You need to just try and play it safe as best you can while not holding one another up. Because one of the main things you can do is if you do try and work together with your teammates going forward, it's easy to hold one another up as Fletcher's gone off. Just across the gravel there with Pete Harrod. A bit of a flash of the lights for you as well, he says. Jonathan Walker down the inside scares the life out of Pete Harrod. Adam Watson goes through as well. I just had a bit of a connection blip there for a second. Sorry, everybody. I'm not sure if it affected the audio or anything. But, yeah, Fletcher, he won't be too pleased about that, but I don't know anyone that would be.
As they go through turn number 10. So Turnbull now is in 4th place, and he's pretty secure in that position as well. He's got a tall order trying to catch up to Ben Palmer in 3rd place, but you know he can do it. Palmer is, by the way, catching up to Mike Horder, is actually completely off screen because we've been concentrating so much on the championship. Kenneth Cole-Branson is now your race leader, up 12 positions for the RSR Esports by G Performance car. Nice work so far for Kenneth here today.
Yeah, mega stuff by Kenneth Cole-Branson. He was an absolute star at Spa, you could say. We really enjoyed watching him when he was in the endurance race there. It was just such a shame that he'd lost out due to having a pit stop that was too long and then a penalty to go with it. Absolute nightmare for him, but what an amazing final race we're having here, Paul. I honestly don't know where to look. My glasses are fogging up because I'm sweating working that hard on trying to do the maths. It's absolutely amazing, and this is what season finales are all about. We've seen some previously where drivers have just driven away and it's been a repeat of previous race meetings, but right now this is honestly the best season finale I've ever had the joy of commentating on.
Well, Ross McFarlane up to 11th place. He made easy work of Matt Bunn. I think Matt was a case of, look, I'm not going to fight you too hard. We're out of the same stable. You know, let's work together and move forward. So he's moved up into 11th now. So Ross is just making it more secure for him in the championship. In your amateur championship, by the way, Michael Blake is 24th out there on the road. Brian Loyens, who came into this final race with a 53-point lead, is in 33rd. So Brian Loyens, there he is, should win the amateur championship, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, all this that we've been saying about the champions and declaring champions, well, that's just provisionally, because, of course, there are stewards' decisions to be made later in the week.
And there can sometimes be the odd difference in points here or there due to incident points that the drivers get in the races. So there are things. What we're saying tonight is just based on results only as they stand on the broadcast. Yeah, because at the moment we have McFarlane winning the championship by 10 points to Matt Turnbull, and they're another 30 points clear then of Nickel Foggy. Brian Loyens would currently take the AM Championship by 34 points from Michael Blake. But 5.5 minutes to go, Paul. we've seen plenty happen in that short amount of time. It could all change once again.
Yeah, it could change in the blink of an eye here in the World GT Championship. Max Wolf down one position from where he started, 6th place at the moment. He is your top amateur driver out there on track, but he's got an angry Pete Harrod, Adam Watson, Mark Fletcher, and then just not that far back from them, Jonathan Walker, as I've noticed an issue for Lars van Rijn. Oh, no, Adam Hedgecock. He's going grass cutting.
Yeah, he's deciding just to do his manual ride height check on how low the splitter is on the front of that Ferrari. Does it chop any of the grass up? He's chasing the number 89 of Tom Stevens here.
Of course, it was Stevens who got involved in that opening incident. And then,
Blake just gives him a tap. But I think Hedgecock went deep, tried to get back onto the racing line. And unfortunately, Blake had just got his nose down the inside in that moment. It's another place gained, obviously, for Michael Blake. Not in the circumstances he would have wanted, but I suppose you could call that return in the favour for the earlier contact that we saw.
Well, it does also promote Brian Lyons as well, up a position here in this race. So Lyons is up a position, so that doesn't help Blake. Pete Harrod! Oh, what's happened at turn 1? 4 minutes remaining, your Season 7 champion. Oh, it's been a season to not write home about. He was in 4th place coming into this final round, and he's now looking to lose a position to your race 2 winner, Matt Bunn.
Yeah, it hasn't been the easiest of nights at all for Pete, unfortunately. He has had a lot go on.
Oh, it's Watson.
And there's, just down the inside, the tiniest little touch. And that is not what you want at all. And it's a really hard corner to be stuck in the middle of as well, to know what to do from there. It's really not easy, in fairness. So hats off to Pete and everybody around him for not making that worse than it was, because that could have definitely escalated.
Certainly could have. Mark Fletcher, 8th place here. Ross McFarlane's up to 9th because of all of that, because of Pete Harrod having that issue at turn 1. We're on board with Mark Fletcher. Behind him on track is the man trying to get the championship, Ross McFarlane. Look at the different lines that they take into that right-hander at turn 11. And this has been, I mean, Turnbull had one heck of a Champions Drive in race 2. Yeah. This, so far, has been so good. And Fletcher's had an issue. And did he get a slow-down penalty through turn 12?
I don't know whether that's just him letting Ross go, you know. They've had some epic battles this season, some of these guys, and I think he's just saying, you know what, Ross, you're on a charge. I'm not going to make this difficult for you, mate. It's now 36 places gained for Ross McFarlane, and believe it or not, he's not the biggest mover in the field. Josh Thompson has gained 37, there you see it on the left, up to 5th. That is just outstanding. And again, it's been a real shame for Josh, because he has these incredible performances. We all know how quick he is. He's absolutely phenomenal. You know, there's a reason that he's a World Championship driver, but he just has these nights that just don't go his way, and he's had a number of them, loads of technical issues. And it's a shame because, you know, he's not able to unleash his full potential this season. He nearly did the triple here last season as well, remember. He won the first 2 and I think finished 2nd in the 3rd race. And I think it was actually Ross McFarlane that won the last one. But either way, Pete Harrod goes past the number 67 of Alex Neller. But Alex says not in your life. As I look down the inside again, Pete gets very decisive into there. And just behind them, Matt Bunn wants a piece of this as well. Neller's then got his teammate Gregory involved. Yeah, look at that queue of traffic behind as well. Just a queue of cars behind Pete Harrod here. So all squabbling over 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th in the queue. Pick your ticket at the deli counter and get your number because you're all in the queue and it's time to take your turn to come around there. Now, McFarlane looking to get the run out of the final corner. Down the start and finish straight now. Adam Watson has been complaining, saying that he hasn't had pace today. Well, he's showing some pace now. Having to go defensive on McFarlane. McFarlane doesn't need to make this move. He can afford to not fight this too hard. Oh, little squeeze. There's half a minute left, Ross. Give it a rest. Flipping heck. I can't take this. This is unbelievable. Mark Fletcher in there as well. We know how feisty Mark wants to be. This is a battle of three of the finest gents in this series, honestly. These three are all great, really top lads as well. But one of them is on the brink of winning a championship and could throw it all away here. The other two, they're just fighting for whatever they want to fight for. Ross really needs to be careful with all this. We've got 10 seconds to go. And to me, Paul, this is just... Oh, this is on the blade, the edge of it. What's the phrase? You know what I mean? It's just unbelievably
I don't know
tense.
what you mean.
I know.
It's on a knife's edge. That's what it is. Well, one driver who has really taken advantage in this final race. It's going to be a bookended season because RSR Esports by G Performance won the opening race at Monza. And now, as they come round the final corner, they're going to win the final race of the season here. Kenneth Gulbranson, what a drive from the RSR Esports by G Performance car. He ends up winning this race, but we're going to look back because in 8th place, as it stands, coming round the final corner to win the Pro Championship, it is Ross McFarlane across the line. He won't know it yet, but he'll be absolutely delighted with that. Unbelievable stuff. Sensational for him. It was a great charge from Turnbull to try and push on. He finishes in 4th place. And looking further back, Brian Lyons, he's coming around the final couple of corners. He should secure himself an amateur championship across the line for the Sim Stickers Racing outfit to take it there. What a drive from him to take it at the death. Brilliant stuff there. And well, Chaz, what a wonderful season this has been. Do you think Ross knows yet?
That was... I'm sweating buckets. That was honestly one of the best season finales I've ever seen. And it was a very deserved win for Kenneth Gulbranson. He gets a lovely little tap there from Ben Palmer. But Ross McFarlane, he deserved that. You know, we saw his class last season, didn't we? You know, we had the 3 Williams Esports BMWs. The Z4s were just unbelievable. Ross had so much pace in that Mercedes to stay with them and fight as hard as he could. He's been amazing again this season. And you know what? The first sign where we saw Ross's potential this season was the very second race meeting, the feature race meeting at Interlagos. He was absolutely bomb-proof at that round. And, I mean, even my brother's been watching and messaging me, and he's been saying, you know, people like Josh Thompson are so fast, but my God, how is Ross so consistent? And it's just been a real highlight of this lad's talent, and he thoroughly does deserve that. So hats off to you, Ross. Hats off.
Yeah, absolutely. He parks it. He's wanting to do some burnouts, and why wouldn't you? He deserves it. He realises it. He knows he is the pro champion, and he'll be absolutely over the moon. Brian Lyons there in the Sim Stickers car. He is your AM champion here.
You've got Daniele Giudici wants to make it to his teammate there, but he's been blocked by the cars behind. I must say as well, you really have to feel for Nickel Foggy in this situation. You know, it's such a shame to have lost him early on in that race, but, you know, these guys, they were racing as hard as they could. All the Team Mad guys and the Simultal guys, they're lining up for a picture, but Foggy, again, has been amazing this season. And Matt Turnbull, what an amazing arrival on the scene he has been. I have really enjoyed having Turnbull around, and he's just been a joy to watch. He was so close at the end there as well. Hats off to him, because what a great first season he's had. He's definitely a potential champion of the future in this series. Well,
let's give you your final race results then here. Kenneth Gulbranson is the race winner for RSR Esports by G Performance. Mike Horder, tremendous drive from him for Boosted Motorsports, finishing 2nd place, and is your top Pro-Am here in this final race. Ben Palmer, hard-charging race, to finish 3rd, with Matt Turnbull in 4th place. So close for him in the championship as well. Josh Thompson, what a try from him to finish in 5th place ahead of Max Wolf. Adam Watson, 7th place, and then your pro champion of Season 9, it is Ross McFarlane, 8th place for him. Matt Fletcher, 9th ahead of Jonathan Walker in 10th place. 11th for Pete Harrod ahead of Alex Nella. Matt Bunn and Ben Gregory 13th and 14th ahead of Chris Wood in 15th place. Paul Webster, now I believe he's the 2nd place AM driver. Of course, Max Wolf, the top AM driver in the results there. James Whitehouse and Andy Archer ahead of Matt Doyle. Chris Van Der Ness round out your top 20. Andy Shield 21st ahead of Tom Stevens. Michael Blake, he'll be thinking so close yet so far. Tom Dadswell, your Pro-Am champion, finishes in 24th ahead of Matt Woodhouse. John Roberts and Jason Hodgson with Lars Van Rijn. And then your Am champion, Brian Loyens, in 29th place. 30th for Daniele Giudici. 31st for Adam Hedgecock ahead of Liam Atkins. Simon Neller and Jason Rowe. Jason Rowe will be absolutely spitting feathers about what happened in turn 1, lap 1, down there in 34th. Simon Field 35th, and then drivers 1 lap down or more. David Baker, Sean Gardner and Lee Berridge 1 lap down, and then those that did not score any points: Chris Byram, Morgan Butler, Michael Evdoka, Ross Nicholson, Nicole Foggy. Oh, what could have been for Nicole? Jesse Jones and Ash Sutton. Well, first of all, Chaz, before we get to speak to any of your champions, let's have a word with one of your series admins here in the championship. Chaz, take it away with Andy Shield.
Andy, you may have liked hitting the cars in the pit lane this evening, but let's not talk about that. What a season it has been, mate. I mean, we always come to the fact that, you know, the series gets stronger and stronger every time. But, I mean, this season, the addition of the feature race format, just the way things have been run, the Pro-Am class has always been amazing. Again, how's it been from your guys' side of things?
Yeah, I think from our point of view, we're really happy with just how strong the competition has been up and down the grid, whether it's the Pro class, the Pro-Am, the Am. You know, the drivers who've participated this season have really, you know, raised the bar. And there's some really quick guys, you know, throughout the grid now. So, you know, sure, there's, you know, some incidents that happen as we saw this evening, but, you know, with the sort of formats that we have and the type of situations we put the drivers in with, you know, the large reverse grids, you know, things like that do happen. But, you know, that's kind of what adds to, you know, some of the excitement of the series that you don't get in from the standard kind of qualifying race to finish and that's it for the evening type races. So, you know, it just helps to kind of mix it up. Gives people a bit of a chance to get some of the spotlight with those reverse grids. And yeah, I think this season's been a you know, really good success. I think everyone involved, yourselves, you know, you guys have put together a fantastic broadcast. You know that we've had all sorts of compliments from many people who've watched it and tuned in, and we have some drivers who want to get on the grid for next season, and they just feel, you know, the level of professionalism you brought to this season's just been absolutely superb. So thanks, guys.
No
yourself
problem.
And Paul for pulling it together.
It's been an absolute joy. I mean, nights like tonight are just that was the most mental finale I've ever had the joy of commentating on, and you know it worked so well. Nothing compares to it, really. I mean, I was saying before, you know, I've been a part of this since I joined as a driver in season 2, and you know, it's been a whirlwind seeing all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes there. But to see where it is now is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, we try to obviously tweak the you know, as we go on to each season, as we try and tweak some of the formats, some of the points to make sure it does remain close and competitive throughout the season, so there aren't really any kind of runaway drivers. And to be honest with you, with the standard of drivers that we have, I don't think you would have that anyway, because there are so many competent, you know, quick drivers on the grids that, you know, I just don't think you'd kind of have that type of scenario. Just wanted to give kind of a, you know, obviously I mentioned to our champions or provisional champions, subject to any kind of things that come in over the next couple of days. So obviously Ross McFarlane for taking the Drivers' Championship. He was, very close to throwing his toys out the pram after race 2 when his wheel disconnected, but he kind of kept his head down, and fair play to him for sticking in. Obviously unlucky to Nicole in that last race, and obviously Matt Turnbull having a fantastic first season out. Tom Dadswell in the Pro-Am category, really well done again. First season for him in the series, and also Brian Loynes in the AM for taking the AM victory in the championship. So again, first time runners. And then just on a separate note, we've got the team championship. So Pure Sims Esports with the Pro Teams champion for the season, and Boosted Motorsport with the Pro-Ams. And we had Mike Horder win the Enduro Cup standings. So we've had a real mix of winners, and it's just been such an exciting season for us. It's
been amazing to watch, mate. And you guys have always put on a great show. Just don't let Bunny set up the sessions in future. That's well. To be fair, Paul and I were having a little bit of a break in the a bit of a laugh in the break, because I'm sure you'll appreciate this as well. Obviously, if Bunny wants to go and show his friends the footage of I won a race on the on Monday. Now, how cool is this? All they'll hear is just the two commentators just taking the mick out of everything he can't do right as he crosses the line. We just thought it was a wonderful touch to add to the moment for Matt. But no, it was good to see him get a win. Obviously, you were out there still getting stuck in as well, but unfortunately caught up in a number of incidents. One of the few people to go for the Merc later on. Yeah,
my one of my stable mates twisted my arm to swap out the McLaren, and then he subsequently has been unable to run as much as he would have liked due to his schedule. So I've been kind of one man wheeling it, which has been interesting.
Well, it's certainly been great, mate, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it here at RaceSpotTV, and I'm going to miss it all. Hopefully we can sort out a trailer for next season, but
absolutely. Just before I jump out, just want to say thanks to Freem for their ongoing sponsorship support. I mean, they've supported the series for the last couple of seasons, sorry. So thank you to Johnny for his help and support. Also thanks to Pure Sims and Simmortal for their ongoing support as well. The drivers, without the drivers, the series doesn't exist. They turn in, week out, put the laps in, and turn up to race. So thanks to those guys, the stewards, and the other admins, and as I mentioned, you guys. So that's about it, really.
Mega stuff. Thank you very much, Andy. Great to speak to you, mate, and I'm sure we'll see you again next season.
No worries.
Cheers, buddy. Well, we go from one of the admins to our overall champion. I imagine he's sweating buckets right now, as we are as well, trying to figure out the maths for all that. Ross McFarlane joins us in the box. Ross, first off, congratulations, mate. It's a thoroughly deserved title. How do you feel right now?
I'm just confused. I'm totally confused. It's when you get hit with that little roller coaster of emotion. Race 2, I thought, well, that's it. It's all over. There's nothing I can do now. And then just to come back in race 3, luck was very firmly not on my side, and then immediately back on my side again. And I can't believe it, really. It was that was a really tough last race as well. I had to get my elbows out, had to really push through, and all the time I was thinking, have I got enough points differential? Have I got the fastest lap? Has maybe Turnbull's got a 0x and he's going to get bonus points? And all of that's just flowing through your mind whilst you're trying to overtake 4 cars at once and keep it on the road. And oh man, just a bit elated, but very confused.
Yeah, it's like you say, it's a bit of a roller coaster of emotions, especially when one race goes your way, the other doesn't, and then it suddenly swings back your way. It was a very frantic and interesting final round. Obviously, we saw how quick you were last season in the fight against the 3 Williams Esports Mercedes. Do you feel like you've done anything differently this season that's helped you secure the title, or is it just, do you feel a bit more luck's been on your side?
I think there's been a few changes. One being that I haven't changed car, so I say there's been a few changes. It's quite the opposite. But that has been partly because early on in the season, luck has been more in my favour. I had a couple of rounds, Bathurst being one, where unfortunately it all unravelled, and that was just like a bit of a personal injury, and I just didn't have the pace to get around there without crashing. So
Yeah.
at that point, you start to think that maybe it's again, like all the other seasons, I'm going to finish maybe top 5. But then I think I got more and more used to some new equipment I got, and I put a bit more time into it. And I spent a lot of time driving the Audi this season in the last sort
Yeah.
of 6 months. And I think all of that just culminated into just that little bit of extra pace that I needed to really take the front of the championship and stay there. And yeah, like I said, I thought the very same hardware that was really helping me along and giving me that extra pace was gonna throw me in the bin for it. But no, that's been it. Just staying true to one car, really keeping the same consistency that I've had throughout all the other seasons, but just applying that extra pace and just making it work. And yeah, it's been a really interesting season. There's been some really standout performers. But I'm just really happy to come away with the win at the end of it.
We've just seen as well one of your hair-raising moments in that final race. Dave Baker getting a bit sideways, getting punted into the air, and then you avoid it while also Dadswell gets collected just behind you. And that's the thing, when you're in a race series that can be as frantic as this, with the sprint race format especially, you've really got to have eyes in the back of your head as well, haven't you? To just know what's going on around you. There's so much to think about, isn't there?
That's it. In that situation, I know that I want to get past both of those cars, but the reality is that the way that they're shaping up for that corner, there's likely to be an incident. So just backing off that car length or half a car length and giving yourself that extra fraction to really react and do something about the incident rather than just being collected in it. That's what saved me there. I really should not have finished that race where I did, but because that incident was probably, I'm guessing, no more than a couple of feet from taking me out. But I think that's what I've always tried to do in a series like this and in anything that you race in. And it's really valuable, just keeping yourself in the race, keeping yourself alive, and not worrying too much about positions every single race. I think people get a little bit fixated on trying to finish podiums, top tens every time. It's not
Yeah.
always like that. And yeah, that's what this series is all about, with the different formats of racing. And I just really enjoy it, and I love to race in it throughout all the seasons I have, and I'm really looking forward to the next season as well.
Well, it's been great to watch, Ross, and like I say, it was very well deserved, mate, especially after how close you got last season as well against the Williams boys. So you go and enjoy it, mate, and of course, we hope to see you back next season as well.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Fantastic stuff from Ross McFarlane there. Really, really lovely guy as well. And we speak to another wonderful person as well who's had a hell of a season, in fairness. I first commentated on this guy in a special event around Bathurst where he was on fire there as well with his teammate Mark Fletcher. Tom Dadswell, your Pro-Am champion. Tom, it must be quite the dream, really, to come straight into a championship and win your class first time out. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's been it's been an interesting first start to this first season. I can't complain too much.
That's one way of putting it. I've spoken to Mark, as you know, Mark and I are very close, and
Yeah.
we talk daily at the minute. But he's mentioned that you've had a bit of coaching over the season as well. Do you feel like that's been the main contributor to your pace early on? Because we've seen a great amount of development, but you did have the pace to begin with when we first saw you.
Yeah, it's definitely helped a lot. Sven is such a good teacher. He helps us so much. Yeah, I wouldn't have been anywhere close to where I would be without that.
And what have you made of the Audi this season? Because we've seen that it's the successful car to be in. It's won all of the classes this season. And, I mean, the teams that won the Pro Team Championship were all driving Audis as well. A few seasons ago, it was a bit of a pig, but it seems that when you get it hooked up, it's a very fast car. What do you think the secret is to it?
I don't really know, to be honest. At the start of the season, we were deciding whether to use a Lambo or Audi. I think we decided the day before to go for the Audi, because we just didn't know what was going to be quickest and what everyone else was going to go for. I think the thing with the Audi is the oversteer, snap oversteer, is hard to control. But once you get that sorted, it's a fast car.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where it's very pointy, but some of the time it can just try and kill you a little bit. I mean, I constantly mention how annoyed I got at the Audi in season 7, but either way, it looks like you've tamed it well, mate. You've taken away a class championship with it. Can we expect to see you back next season to defend that title?
Yeah, I hope so. Obviously, speak to the team and Mark and everything, and yeah, I think we should be back.
Well, we look forward
to
it.
It's a good championship to be in.
Well, I mean, it's the fact that, you know, you've got these 3 different formats. You've got the sprint races, which really demands a lot of quick thinking from drivers. You've got the feature races, which are more of the usual stomping ground for these GT3 cars. And then, obviously, the endurance races as well, which really tests people's patience and their sort of long-term ability. Is there a particular type of race from this championship that you enjoy more than the others?
Definitely the features. I never done it without the features.
Mm.
But they're definitely my favourites. I don't really like the 20-minute sprints. They're a bit too chaotic.
Yeah, it's understandable, and I mean that's where the championship started out really before they even started injecting the enduro rounds into it. But you know, it's definitely a championship that has a bit of something for everyone. So, you know, hopefully if the sprints go a little bit better for you next season, you never know what could happen in pro. But it's been absolutely awesome to watch you this season, mate, and well done on the championship. Hopefully we'll speak to you again before too long.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers, Tom.
Bye.
Well, there we go, Paul. The final interview of the season with Pro-Am champion Tom Dadswell. And, I mean, we said before, people in the chat have said for a while, you know, get him in Pro because he is that quick. And he's proved it. But at the end of the day, he was classified in Pro-Am. He's developed that pace. It's not like he had it from the get-go. Yeah. He's developed to be that quick. And that just shows what this championship can bring out in drivers. Yes, he's had coaching to go with it. But at the end of the day, you've got to think of this championship as a very intense and very... It really plays on the emotions a bit, but it's a training tool for some of these drivers because they get put in a lot of different things. You know, you've got the sprints, 20 minutes, touring car style race weekend. You know, you've got 3 very, very quick succession races. Feature races, 2 longer time periods to think about. You've got strategies to throw in. And then you've got the Enduros as well, which is the usual sort of stomping ground for a number of these drivers at the very top level. And to be able to get all of that out of one series, I think is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's a great mix. It really is. And it produces some tremendous action that we've been bringing you each and every week here on RaceSpotTV. Just before we go, we will go through the provisional championship final standings. Of course, these are subject to any final penalties that come through in the week. So keep an eye. I put the link in the chat on the WGTC.UK for any final championship standings. But as it stands, Ross McFarlane is your pro champion ahead of Matt Turnbull with Nicole Foggy in 3rd place. Then in your Pro-Am standings, we've just spoken to Tom Dadswell, winning that one by 120 points. That is an incredible margin to win the championship by. So congratulations to Tom. Mike, oh my goodness, words. Mike Horder, who finished that final race in 2nd place, finishes 2nd place in the Pro-Am standings with Chris van der Ness. What a debut season for Chris van der Ness to finish 3rd place in Pro-Am. That's no easy feat, is that?
No, definitely not. I mean, we saw how close Pro-Am was last season. I think going into the final round, there was 6 or 7 drivers that could win it, and then we whittled a few out. But even by the final race, you know, we had, I think, 3 or maybe 4 that could still win it at that point. Chris van der Ness has been great. Again, he's been one of those drivers that's just under the radar slightly this season. You know, we saw him have that. I'll never forget his bonkers race at Bathurst. He just seemed to be in every incident, every overtake, every single lap. You know, he was just always in the shot somewhere, whether it's in the background going sideways down Skyline or bouncing off a wall, but he's still got good points out of it. And since then, you know, he's just been constantly in our sights. I say he's been under the radar and then say we've been watching him all season. Figure it out, Chaz. But you know what I mean? He's just there, and he's done a great job. And like you say, podium in the Pro-Am class in your first try. Hats off, Chris van der Ness. Well done, mate.
Yeah, a little tip of the hat there to you. And in your AM standings is Brian Loyens, who wins this one by 46 points over Michael Blake. Oh, what might have been for Michael. Race 2 and Race 3 incidents, getting involved in some. It's not been the end to the season that he would have liked. And Paul Webster Team Mad driver joined Team Mad halfway through the season after Long Beach. He finishes 123 points off of the top of that. And as was pointed out by Andy Shield, the series admin, when we spoke to him earlier in the interviews, Mike Horder gets second place in Pro-Am, but gets the championship and the Enduro Cup for the endurance rounds. And that's been a really good addition to the championship, and hopefully we get to see that again next season. But Chaz, final thoughts to this championship this season. It's been absolutely tremendous, and you said it, I don't think I've ever commentated on a championship finale as chaotic as that.
No, that had a bit of everything. You know, I said in the break, I don't want to compare that sort of finale to what we see in the British Touring Car Championship. Similar to last year, you know, Turkington came into it winning it, had a nightmare. Camish then went forward, and then the last lap of the championship, Camish had a brake failure, and so on. But that's the sort of drama we had tonight. You know, we had Ross McFarlane have the perfect first race, drove away, no one could get near him. Yes, he only gained a few points on Foggy by finishing with Foggy in second place. Hardware failure, worst thing he could have asked for. Foggy ninth on the grid in the last race after Turnbull comes through from nowhere to blow everyone out of the water. It could have gone any way. Turnbull did everything he needed to do. You know, Matt Turnbull was a star tonight. Yep. Absolutely phenomenal. Foggy just got really unlucky with that incident. It was just hard racing, and it happens. And then Ross just did everything he needed to do as well. And he only secured it by, I think it was just over 10. Oh, it's 18 points in the end. Yep. But even still, that's a tiny margin when you consider they've got over 1,500 points each. It's just insane. You know, personally, I've loved being involved in this championship. Like I said before, I hope to still make the trailer for its wonderful centenary season, its 10th season next time round. I've been with them since late 2017 now, and it's been honestly a joy to be an admin, a commentator, even just do the trailers, you know, do liveries for people. I've absolutely loved it. So to everyone at World GT Championship, thank you very much for having me. And of course, thank you to RaceSpotTV and to you, Paul, as well, for having me as well, mate. It's been an absolute joy. And I thoroughly hope whoever fills my very, very sweaty feet, shoes, whatever, I hope they have a good time of it. And I really do hope, sincerely, Paul, for your sake as well and for your sanity, that they have just as many puns as I did all season. Because what's the world without puns, eh?
Very punny. Right, so thank you everybody for joining us here on the season finale of the World GT Championship. It just goes without saying, thank you very much to the series sponsors, for Frame, to Pure Sims and to Simmortal for supporting the series, for helping put this all together, to the series admins and drivers who have helped run and compete in this championship, Hugo Luis for helping set up broadcasts, to Arjuna Kankapati and also to Tyler Maxon as well for joining us throughout the season. Chaz Draycott, it's not going to be the same without you, that's for sure. Cheers, and it's certainly been a pleasure working with you on the World GT Championship. Don't forget, we have got plenty more action coming up here on RaceSpot TV. Make sure you subscribe to RaceSpot TV here on YouTube and also on the social media channels as well. What a season finale. Hats off to Brian Lyons, Tom Dadswell and Ross McFarlane for their championships, Pure Sims Esports and also Boosted Motorsports for their team championships, and Mike Horder for the Enduro Cup Championship. Until next time here on RaceSpot TV, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the season. And well, it's goodbye.
soulful, I'm devoted myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing.